There we go.
All right.
I'm not going to do that at the beginning of these shows. All right, we back.
Yes, sir. We back.
Back at it.
I got to get my Fred G. Sanford poker playing glasses on.
Oh, yeah. We back at it. We finna get this one in, knock out this show. All right. We gonna start off with Don Lemon.
G stands for gangster.
Don Lemon. I know I spoke about him in the other episode. I do like Don Lemon because he goes back to that old school journalism, going out there with the people with the microphone and asking questions, and it doesn't matter to him what the response is, but that's that old school journalism. But I think he caught himself in hot water with this one because
he might have stepped over the line a little bit. I don't know, but I think that's the whole that toss up in it. Is like
that journalism. Yeah. I got to do what I got to do to get this story.
Because I'm like, on one hand, it's like, obviously it's fucked up to be, storming a church and interrupting church services and everything. Yeah. And so I'm like, that part is not, that's not debatable from my standpoint, at least. I'm like, you had any other opportunity to do that. But as far as the issue with Don Lemon itself goes, it's like, there was a point in time throughout time, civilized time at least, where it was like, hey, journalists were not necessarily off limits, but they had a little bit more, protections when it came to, being in certain places during certain times and certain events. It's like it's always been, that point of, journalism, journalists, have to be, there to cover the news. So it's like if it's, an issue that's just, the journalist is there, obviously that person would be a little bit, like I said, I don't want to say off limits, but, they get, a little bit more freedom, the journalistic, freedoms and stuff. But it's like, at what point, in this point, at least, it's like, is it is touching it into the little bit of a gray area? Cause it's like, was he there, just covering it, or did he take part in planning it and executing it or whatever?
Mm-hmm. I think he did.
Yeah. And it's just like, but did he? And how do you prove that?
Well,
which is like,
for starters, you recorded the whole thing. And that within itself,
what journalists do.
No, you don't record something and say that I appeared on the scene and followed a group of people because they were going to march for something versus they called you ahead of time. You knew where you were going. You met up in a certain spot. You knew exactly where you were going. All this is on video. And then recently, his little buddy came out that he was working with, came and said, oh, yeah, they knew about it before they got there. So he got destroyed and all that. My question is
how does that prove that he took part in the planning and execution of it? That's just,
they're saying, I got the part of the alleged the video. He was allegedly like, hey, I know why we there. I can't talk about it on video. And then there was another scene where he was talking with his helper there. I'm not sure what the guy's name was, and they were asking him, hey, back up, we're discussing the plan. And he even said on video, hey, they're talking about the next move, but they don't want that part on video. And they told him, we don't want this part on video. And there was a bunch of people there that now getting arrested and now having to like testify to go to court because of the Fake Act, to where they're just snitching. They're just saying like, no, we knew why we were there. Like there was a lot of stuff that wasn't recorded. They're stating that they have stuff recorded that he didn't post. That lands up. They're saying that from the time he got there to whatever time he did a little chop off and turn the video off, there's a bunch of other videos that he knew that I'm not going to post this part because it looks suspicious on my end. And it doesn't help that he hired a lawyer way prior to any indictment or arrest warrant getting. So he knew, he kind of knew it. I wouldn't.
All journalists have lawyers to cover their back on that.
My question is this: it's like, so he's a journalist of what? Like his own website?
Yeah, he's an independent journalist. Now.
Okay, so somebody pointed this out. They said if somebody is about to go rob a bank, and you like, okay, I'm gonna go film this. You go with them. They rob the bank, and you sitting there, so-called a reporter, recording it, and you go into jail too.
Yeah,
and that's basically what happened. It's
so
like,
how is that different from like Vice or somebody like that going and embedding themselves with like cartels while they cooking up drugs and packaging it and stuff?
oh, you talking about undercover
Oh, I know
work?
what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm talking about Vice, not Vice the department. I'm talking about the channel, the documentary channel. Like they got documentaries when you go out, you can see like the cartel and stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, they send journalists over like, hey, look, I'm just a journalist. I would like to however they negotiate that stuff. But, you know, they be back there showing them cooking up the cocaine and the barrels and all this other stuff. And I don't know how many documentaries I've seen of that. And it's like you're recording them committing a crime. You knew that they were going to be committing crimes. And you're you're documenting it, and then you come back home and you edit it together and put it together and you put out a documentary on it. How is that different?
Yeah, I used to watch those all the time.
This one actually has a act that follows it in terms of what would make you guilty in regards to what Don Lemon did. There's a FACE Act for it. Isn't
there laws against making and selling and distributing? And
I guess it depends on who come after you.
But yeah,
that's one. Okay, so then that's the point. Is it a political thing or is it?
No,
it's a completely criminal thing.
It's a criminal thing, and again, it depends on who coming at you. It's
So then, how do we pick and choose? Did it depend on who's in office? At that point, it's like, what's the point?
They're applying the FACE Act the same way they did with the people that went out and got arrested and protested in front of the abortion clinic. You know, I guess there was. I'm not sure all the details of the FACE Act, but when I guess it was a bunch of Republicans that got arrested when they went out to protest in front of an abortion clinic, and there was, you know how they say, well, it's traumatizing, you're violating the FACE Act. We should be able to do this in private, etc. However, all that goes with when you're prayer and you're doing something within the sanction of, you know.
No, yeah. That's all not even up for debate.
Are they picking and choosing?
Yeah, that's my thing. My thing is. It's like, hey, I feel like it sets a bad precedent for, you know, the whatever administration in office being outwardly, you know, active against, you know, journalism, and it's just like, you know, that sets a terrible precedent because, you know, it's not the same as, you know, a regular dude off the street, you know, pulling out their phone and saying, oh, freedom of the press and all this other. It's like, no, person is an actual documented journalist, and he's been doing so for 20, 30 years. And it's like, he's not a regular person with a camera phone and a mic.
Right.
It's like, there's a difference.
He does have a history of intentionally going out there agitating people, but I do know he was.
But I mean, it's like all that stuff is irrelobservant when you're talking about a particular incident. It's like, hey, can you prove that this person went here with this intent to obstruct?
So this particular incident, it's like he's guilty of committing a crime, yes, because of what he did. It's like if you, again...
So what did he do that was the crime?
You interrupted a church service.
What did he do? Because from the videos that I've seen, he's recording while the rest of the people come in there and doing this stuff. But he's going up and saying, hey, this is going on. How do you feel about this and what's going on and stuff?
Right. But he was a part of that interruption. It's like, and again, like it was a lawyer describing it. He said, if he had stood outside and not gone inside and recorded the people on their way out, then okay. Then again, it's like you're saying, because now you're on the outside of that. You didn't need to go in the church and start interviewing people in the church. Now you become part of that situation. You're not a bystander. Number one, if you know where they're going, you're not just some innocent, oh, I just popped up. You knew the whole layout. You knew the people that were involved in it. You had heads up notice. So again, it goes back to that bank robbing theory. If you were the group of people that rob a bank and you just said, well, I didn't take any money, I was just in there recording it, you're going to jail. It's a federal crime, just like this was a federal crime. Now, it may sound sketchy and razor thin on the surface because of what he actually participated in, but at the end of the day, you can't go and disrupt a church service, and you watch the video. I was like, dude, that was a clear disruption. If you going in there asking a preacher like, oh, you don't think they have a right, and please don't touch me, sir. I mean, like, no, dude asked y'all to leave, and you sat up there like, well, I don't know what Christianity, like, dude, you suck dick. So that within itself is some Christianity that majority of people don't believe in. So that within itself, like, yes, you are breaking a law, and they do have rules for it. And like you had mentioned earlier, when they did that to the protesters that was outside of an abortion clinic, they didn't go inside to protest or anything. They were outside, and the Biden administration whacked the shit out of them. So it's like one of those things where you said it set a bad precedent for journalism. It's like, oh, well, that's already been set. That
you talking about protesters, not journalists.
Yeah, but again, it's like they didn't. If it was
it's a separate thing.
It is a separate thing.
Apples and oranges.
But if it's a protest and you're outside following the protest and you still get locked up, it's like, okay, yeah, that can be apples and oranges. But you went and protested inside where there is a law that protects the freedom of religion. You broke that law by going inside and following the group in, again, with advance notice and everything that follows behind. So it's like he knew. And was there a law broken? Yes. Now it depends on how far they want to drag it out and take them. It's like, well, that's.
I wouldn't be surprised because of all the shit they did to Trump. I wouldn't be surprised if they go after anybody as far as any law that hey, you guys was fucking with me all through the campaign. Y'all tried to have me go to jail, had me in court 4 or 5 days out the week. I'm trying to campaign. I'm not defending Trump. I'm just saying, like some of that stuff.
Oh no, yeah, he's definitely vindictive enough.
Yeah, some of that
we
shit
can see now.
Like, yeah, and rightfully so. I was like, I'll defend dude if they came at me like that on some BS.
Man.
I was like, you look at every one of those court cases, they were some bullshit. Flat out. And they just didn't want dude to win. And I think, in all honesty, they had every intent for him not to win, but he won. So,
yeah, like it was just like complete. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it happen more. And then they just, hey, we can charge them for that, do it. We can charge her for that, do it.
They like I said, they did him. Nobody's above the law.
Yeah.
So again, and it's like another thing with dude. It's like, dude, you washed up. It's like, don't nobody watch the Don Lemon podcast, and you doing this shit for clickbait now because nobody knows about you. Nobody cares. All those stations that you got, well, you got fired from CNN, but you got booted out. My thing is that you do something wrong, and this is just on the general basis of it. It's like as a child or any young adult, nobody can convince you to go into a church and start screaming. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you screaming about. You can't go into church and do that. Whether it's, politically wrong, like federal, you just don't do that. Common sense would tell you that, but he chose not to. He just did it because he's Don Lemon, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm still Don Lemon. People still watch me. It's like, no, they don't. No, they don't. And the killer part is
he wouldn't have done that had he if he didn't believe that his journalistic status would shield him from or if he didn't make sure that he was trying to at least take the necessary steps to keep himself just separated enough from it to where that he's not couldn't be implicated in taking part in the the conspiring of
his
the plan
video
and stuff.
says something different because towards the end of it, he's like, "Oh man, I think the police are gonna get. I hope we don't get locked up for the." He knew. I was like, to some degree, you knew. If you were sitting there worried about the cops and if I should get a lawyer on video while you're talking about it, then you know. That's like me doing something stupid, like, man, I hope the cops ain't good. I had my cell phone on. I'm going to jail. Yeah, like straight up, you going to jail. My surprise is the amount of black people that all of a sudden now support him because prior to this, it's like Don Lemon was a gay. He wasn't part of the club. He sitting there getting smashed by a white dude. He ain't got nothing wrong with that white supremacy, but he got something wrong with all the other white supremacy.
Oh yeah, he did get on TV.
Yeah, and I was like, so it's like, dude, you washed up, you has been, you trying to get clicks, you trying to get your name status back on, and you do this. My thing is like, dude, who called you a journalist? Because every time I hear Don Lemon talk, he's wrong about it. And that goes as far as like immigration, but that's not journalism. That's, you're supposed to have a non-biased opinion and you're just supposed to go with the facts. And dude is sitting there trying to preach to a preacher about Christianity. out of all things. And I was like, I've seen plenty of interviews with Don Lemon and he was just like, dude, you flat out wrong. Here's the law. But you choose to implement what you feel is right and tell other people about it. It's like, that's not being a journalist.
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time you seen a journalist that you could say, like, hey, this person is 100% unbiased, and I trust that they're going to give me the actual news without any slant or tilt or anything like that.
Yeah, I can't answer that question,
Exactly.
but
So
I'm
it's
like,
just
it doesn't make it right though.
But I'm saying only to say that it's like, you know, to call out his journalism is like, hell, it's no different than anybody else.
Well,
that doesn't make it right.
out.
Right.
They all brought in.
Absolutely doesn't make it right. And as we can see, that's the reason why, you know, regular news ratings are just going down the drain. It's like people aren't really watching or depending on, you know, turning on Fox or turning on CNN to get their news. Like, you know, irrespective of technology, it's like even if the technology, you know, even with the technology being the way it is, it's like, hey, if people could actually turn to these channels and trust the things that they're hearing from the people, then, you know, the ratings would probably still be, you know, competitive at the very least. I'm pretty sure it would take a hit to, you know, online journalism, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's like he's no less of a journalist than the rest of the people that's got, you know, the desk and the corporation behind.
Why don't you say than we are? But it's like,
because we're not journalists. None of us went to school for journalism.
And
none of us have had any type of professional
role
role in journalism for 30, 20, whatever years, regardless of your opinion of him. It's like none of that has anything to do with his standing as a journalist. And I care for him one way or another. I'm like, I don't know nothing about him, but it's just like.
But I think he's a little bit. I think he can speak a little bit more freely now because, you know, whenever you with a news network, Fox, CNN, MSNBC or whatever, they'll tell you, no, don't cover that story. No, that's not good. We want you to cover this story. That's not a good story, but this is what we want you to do. We're paying you all this money. You front and center, you know, in front of the camera. Like, we want you to cover these three stories. So it is a little bit of, you know, restrictions on somebody.
They definitely got a leash, and that's why.
So I'm pretty sure now he's trying to. But I still don't think, as a journalist, you should just make your whole podcast or at least 3 or 4 episodes in a row about Donald Trump, because I have seen that. Like, I, you know, catch some of his video. He try to throw in other stuff, but then he always try to. Right. I feel like he always just try to make it about race, and I'm not sure why people just gravitate toward that so hardly. It just
because it's what they feel already, and just affirming what they already think,
feeding into the narrative. And I was like, well, if that's the case, I was like, well, anybody can claim that they're a journalist. I was like, you don't have any credentials from any major news source or anything like that. You're not with CNN. You're not with MSNBC. You're not with Fox News. You're just a so-called independent journalist. Like, so what credentials does that take for anybody to really run out in the street? Like, I'm with the press. I can print one of those.
That's but you know who else? Opinionated statement to make, because it's like you can say that about a professor. Like, been a professor at a college university for 20 years, and he gets fired and decides to, you know, do his own thing in the private sector. That doesn't make him less of a professor. That doesn't change his credentials, and that doesn't change the things that he's done and learned and accumulated over the past 20, 30 years of his career. Whether you agree with his subject matter or not. Like, that doesn't change anything. And that doesn't mean that somebody can go on YouTube, learn some stuff, and then start calling themselves a professor because they start teaching it to other people.
Wait, you said that you can do that?
Because you can't. Like, you can't just go learn some stuff and then start teaching people and call yourself a professor.
I would like to call myself a professor.
Man, it was that.
I am now a professor.
Y'all remember that African doctor that was performing surgeries successfully, but he ain't had no license? He was out there.
Sounds familiar.
Well, I'm gonna put the video up there real quick, but he was out there wilding the hell out, and he was successful, like even down to lawyers. I think it was a guy that won like 6 cases or something. Wasn't even a lawyer. He was just going in there pretending to be a lawyer.
Nice.
I'm
I hope you got paid for it. But I mean,
playing with your freedom at that point, and then the doctor too. Shit. Like,
well, I mean, he playing with Lemon is playing with his freedom right now because you claim to be a journalist. And I'm gonna go get me a press badge printed up, and I'm gonna just wherever I go be
printed up versus.
So how would I be any different from Don Lemon if I just went pressed up a press badge?
Because you have zero history of going out and being a reporter, journalist, have no professional background in it, educational background in it.
Fair enough. So what does it take to be a reporter? Based on what you've seen, what does it take to be a reporter?
The things that I just mentioned 2 seconds ago.
It doesn't take a history. You don't have to go to school to be a reporter. That's asking questions.
A reporter and being a journalist.
I thought it was like journalism.
Being a journalist, you have a actual, like, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like you get certifications for it, or like a, actual, I don't know if it's like a stamp or a badge or whatever it is. It's an official thing that has steps and processes to attaining. Like, you don't just, like I said earlier, like you don't just wake up one day and be like, hey, I'm gonna just start recording some stuff and call myself a journalist.
We bringing out the phone.
I gotta look that up. I'm like, what does it take to be a journalist?
We'll be right back. I mean,
but even like with all of that, it's just like you can't compare yourself to somebody who has X amount of experience doing something and has made an entire career and a following out of it, and just be like, oh well, anybody could do that. It's like, well, if anybody could do it, then everybody would.
But you know what's funny? Even the ladies on The View consider themselves like factual.
Not a lot.
Reporting because they got to do all those legal notices so they won't get sued. Do you think journalism
legal team?
But I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But do you think
Goldberg ain't googling up no damn laws or what?
Don Lemon can get sued as an individual for reporting incorrect stuff. The same at The View or any of these other Fox News network. We see Trump. He been suing all these news organizations, and it's just them, inaccurately reporting stuff, but he been winning the cases like $10 million, $4 million,
$25 million.
I'm like, there is some type of like.
You can't just go out and just saying.
It says what it takes. Education and qualifications. One is a bachelor's degree. Most employers require, not necessary, just require a degree in journalism.
What does require mean?
Is that they ask for it? Is it necessity?
It's like it's a synonym. A requirement and necessary is the same thing.
Okay, this requires a degree in journalism, communications, or a related field, whichever that is. Relevant skills coursework should cover reporting, media law, ethics, and research. That's not difficult. Internship, essentially for gaining hands-on experience and making industry connections. Got nothing to do with asking questions. Portfolio is a collection of published work. It's crucial to demonstrate writing style and ability. And student media, working for a school, newspaper, or radio stations help build early experience. None of this is nothing that you can't come by from watching YouTube. I'm just be honest with you. I was like, if you want to talk about getting a degree in journalism, it's like journalism is going out and asking questions. If you got good writing skills, which it covers here, that means that you're able to communicate and that you're able to go out and ask the permanent questions on a non-biased basis.
Exactly.
But
we can't gloss over the fact that it clearly just said you need a degree and you need a established portfolio of of things leading up.
It says most employers require, most, not all, but most of them require.
Right. So if you try to go to CNN, then you're gonna need it. But if you try to go to Poop Butt newspaper, then you probably not going.
All right, but so it's like, what the fuck? If you go to Poop Butt network, does that make you any less of a journalist because they didn't ask you your credentials?
It depends on the credibility and the standing of that network or whatever it is.
Okay, well, Poop Butt we never heard of. We don't watch it, but they give you a journalism tag. Now you're a journalist because you work for a Poop Butt network.
Yeah, but are you going to be okay? You can walk around with this badge and say, "Hey, I'm a journalist for Poop Butt Network." Let's see how much access that gets you. It's just like, hey, okay, what's your credentials and your history and
now it's not, you're not basing anything off of actual talent and skill. You just basing it off of what I was like, because I watched plenty of CNN and I can tell you that shit is not journalism. So I was like, you can see it with a CNN badge. You probably better off with the Poop Butt Network guy. That's just like and1 and NBA players. It's like I know plenty of and1 players that are smoke NBA players, but you don't watch and1 anymore.
That's separate.
I think
it's kind of like the same. It's kind of like the same game.
I think those press badges be BS because I have gotten into some concerts and conferences or like Comic-Cons and stuff with a press badge just because I applied online super early and said I'm with such and such. All I got to do is just say, hey, I even put my job down one time, like, ooh, like, I ain't gonna say what my job is, and you get a press badge. You can get a press badge pretty easy at that timing. It can happen. But I don't know. I mean, are y'all gonna keep battling?
No. That wasn't a battle. That was it. This is facts over feelings. That's all.
Right. So you need degrees some kind of.
I thought y'all finna throw some money down.
Need degrees. It's a requirement.
Man,
you can work for Poop Butt Network without a degree, and it doesn't take a mastermind for. How long does it take for a bachelor's? What is it? 4 years? 2 years?
You can do it online.
Yeah,
you can do journalism online.
All right,
while
so you can
getting your
get an online degree. Be like, what's that dude named Richie, whatever, and get like 12 of them from overseas. I like that dude. He's
talking about fraud.
Surgeon, yeah. Okay.
That's different.
So like Don Lemon's not a fraud. It's like this dude. As a matter of fact, before we get out of here. Pull up anything journalistic that was on point that Don Lemon did so that I can watch it. I'm not saying that it didn't happen. I just want to look at something that, hey, Don Lemon did this and said that, and I want to look at it so I can be like, okay, that was some honest journalism versus everything being about races and about Trump and how, it's bad being black and gay. I was like, so.
I mean, who knows? You got 20, 30 years worth of stuff, so have fun going through that and trying to find something.
Here's a good one. So would you consider that little kid that went through Minnesota a journalist? The Nick, the guy that
Nick, you talking about Nick Flint?
The dude that was in Minnesota that busted out all the daycare centers. Nick something, I forgot it.
No idea.
The guy that exposed the Leering Center.
I don't know who he is.
I mean, I know he got a YouTube. That's all they really care about nowadays. Can you pull numbers? Can you get numbers?
Oh yeah, exactly. But would you consider that journalism? If you to go out and like this kid did, he hit the streets, he asked all the right questions, he went to the locations, he did everything that the regular media wouldn't do because they was claiming nothing was happening. But he goes out and busts this huge story that now led to like state to state to state. Now, would you consider him a journalist? And he has absolutely no skill. He had a camera.
I have no idea. Like I said, I have no idea.
So this kid, he went to Minnesota doing the fraud cases, and while everybody was talking about there's no fraud, he went and uncovered like millions and millions. He's the one that started everything it wasn't him just alone, but it was another guy that went and kicked off all this fraud cases, and now it's spread it to Ohio, it's in California, New York, Maine, Illinois. So now it's spread out all over the place because this one kid with no media degree, no journalistic background, went out and asked all the right questions and got people busted. So would that consider him as a journalist?
I mean,
no.
What does that consider?
I would consider him a concerned citizen that wants to expose corruption in the government.
Is that not doing journalistic work?
I feel like the actions that he's done and things that would be considered, journalistic, investigation. Absolutely. But that doesn't make him a journalist. Well, no difference than somebody going out and going to the gym and learning how to eat right, and then all of a sudden they call themselves a nutritionist.
But it's I guess the
personal trainer and all that stuff. Like, yeah, just because you do something, that doesn't automatically make you what the title that comes along, that the person with that normal title would be doing. That doesn't mean anything. If you go out and stop a person from robbing the bank, does that make you a cop? No. Is you a person that a good Samaritan or whatever the case is? Like, and that's the issue. Like everybody, gets on these things and starts having opinions and starts doing their internet Googling and stuff, and then all of a sudden wants to start labeling themselves as things and giving themselves titles that they haven't earned, or they haven't done the foundational research and traditional education. And it's like, yeah, you can go learn some stuff on YouTube or whatever, but it's not the same as sitting down in a classroom with a person who's been doing this for years and has personal experience and getting, actual education on something. Like, yeah, you can do that all you want to, but it's just not going to be the same. And there's a reason why these things have a certain barrier to entry, because, doing things doing things your own way and not following a certain set of tried and true, like it's science. It's a certain way to do certain things to achieve a certain thing and be completely competent in something. There's a certain way to do it, and going around it and then, just because you get to a certain level of knowledge in this more than the average person, that doesn't make you an expert in the
well, no, not to be an expert. I'm not saying an expert, but I mean,
it doesn't make you anything. You just know a little bit more than the average person.
But but the thing is, what if? Because I know I was trying. How the right and the left try to, disprove where you're not a journalist or whatever the case. But they said that he had the barest minimum of certificates or certification to be a journalist, and before that story cracked, he did a couple of other stories that got like mild or medium views, but he just did what I think is journalism, what I grew up on. You go out there, you look up some public record information. This school had X amount of kids. It got $6 million, $3 million, and you just go do a little bit of an investigation. Maybe his approach is wrong, because you can't just go up to a daycare and say how many kids you have, but can you? If you're a parent,
I don't know. Yeah,
how many kids go here? What time do they? What time can I drop my kids off, etc.? Can I put in an application? If you just say no, or whatever, But then he busts out the paperwork like, you got $3 million, but then
he knew something.
Yeah, he knew something was wrong. But then,
would you just walking up to random places?
Would you? Because I think journalism for me is just getting out there in the field. I think we don't see that as much. You see somebody out there reporting, but out there going out investigating.
Right.
That's what I think journalism is. But half the time they get shot down because they can't get their story picked up on the news, and they say, we don't want to report on that story. The same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. You got all this information years ago, but no network would touch it. But then now all the information is gone, and now you got to try to go over here to get the information put out. But then they're like, you're not a real journalism, or whatever that lowest criteria. You did the bare minimum just to get on the other side, and now I can start reporting. But it's all about views and how many people you can pull in, or whether if you're a pretty face on camera, guy or girl.
In this social media era, it's like
it's a hot mess.
Like people stop. Like it's like them likes and subscribers and views and friends and all this shit. All that stuff is currency now. Yeah. So it's just like people and companies are starting to place more value in that than the traditional routes and ways of verifying.
So back in the day, they used to have those investigative news times where at like 7:30 or 8:30 or something like that, they'd be like, "Oh, we're going to bring you the investigative news. Our team reporting
and stuff."
Yeah, something like 60 minutes. But you had people out there doing the footwork. Like you said, getting out there, getting doors slammed on them, chasing people through the parking lots. Like, hey, we heard about, the $7 million. You want to talk about it? And the guys running to his car. Yep. That's journalism, true or false. Journalism isn't sitting behind the desk. You're a reporter. If you're sitting behind the desk reading the news every night, you are a reporter. You're being given a report. You're being told what to say. That makes you a reporter. A journalist is like being back out in the day with the mic, chasing dude through the parking lot while he's trying to get to his car.
Yeah, dudes that be going out and with the cartels and stuff. Like I was saying earlier, be embedding themselves with cartels. And
what about that show, Cheaters? You think that's investigative?
No, that's waiting to get your ass. I've seen a couple episodes that they in
right now.
He got shot in the stomach once.
He got stabbed.
Yeah, it was something. He was bleeding.
Oh man,
And he was cool about it too. Oh my God, I just got stabbed. Hold on.
like what about that?
I'm bleeding.
What about the other one that the Boondock did with the
the Prince Handsome.
with the
I call you Prince
with the
Handsome.
pedo people, pedo people that come in and then
the pedo,
we gotta be careful with the word. Yeah, the booty word. But you know why that show ended, right? Because I guess the alderman or
That show's still on.
no,
How to Catch a Predator.
I thought it ended because they
think
ended
they
up
still
catching
doing
a congressman or a judge, and then it got really hot in the situation, and they had to cancel the season. Yeah, it got crazy. Yeah,
That ain't surprising.
Yeah. All right. I'll leave with Don Lemon like this. Number one, dude going to jail. He's going to see some type of jail time, or he's going to get fined. Whatever they're going to do, they're going to shut him down. I
think he got flew too close to the sun on that one.
Yeah.
Like, especially watching the man, like, you just looking at the pastor's body language. He looks fucking terrified.
Yeah, you had kids in there crying and everything.
But just like looking at him, like looking at his body language, he's like leaning away, and Don is just like in his face asking these questions and stuff. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like,
and
you couldn't have did that at a black church.
And they were saying something about all the people were blocking the exit, and people were trying to leave out, and then he was like looking back and forth, like, and the camera. But they say he chopped that out because they have all the footage now.
Yeah, everything was recorded, and that's why they was like, dude, you recorded everything. We got nothing. We really don't need to pull any witnesses outside of your video. So it's like everything in there, you broke a law. Now, to me, again, it's like if he was a real journalist, he would have read the law and understood that, no, I can't do this. I can't.
Did he live in that state? He should have been.
No, he ain't from Minnesota.
No, I think whatever lawyer that he contacted before, he need to get his money back. Cause
it ain't gonna end good. Dude, you got again. If you go by what Biden administration did to the people that was out there protesting, and they were just protesters out in front of a abortion center. It's like they got whacked, and they were just protesting. They didn't stop nobody from doing nothing. They didn't call nobody names and none of that. They were actually praying, and they got whacked. So if dude can walk up in a church with a bunch of rabble rousers and go in there and start talking. Yeah, I was stuck in the 60s. But you go in there and do what he did. It's like, okay, you broke some laws. Whether you were aware of it or not, you broke them. Now you got to pay the piper. End of story. So,
yeah, I just curious on the because the whole thing, it still feels like almost like a kind of like a gray area to me as far as what I've seen so far. Like I said, I haven't been looking at the new footage and whatever else has been released, because it's like it was a headline. I clicked on it and watched it a couple times and looked up a little bit of it, and then I was just like, that's what I think about it.
All right. Speaking of footage, have you guys seen the monkey video? Trump?
No,
whether if he accidentally.
I did that shit. That shit was hilarious.
So I guess I'm gonna be a little bit, I don't want to say a little bit of a rant, but I think everybody that's outraged about that are the same people that wanted Trump assassinated. They're the same people that wanted him to go to jail, because I feel like it's completely selective outrage, because, there are plenty of videos out there of people portraying Trump as a monkey or dead or his head chopped off or burning or Satan or whatever the case. Hitler, I just think it's selective outrage, at least on those individuals that are completely against Trump. I'm not for Trump, not with him, whatever, not against him. I'm just, giving my opinion. But I think as far as black people goes, like, we got to stop letting images and words trigger us into victim mode, because we have overcome worse. We have seen worse. And the fact that some of these racist things that comes out, I saw the whole video. Like, of course, there was Michelle Obama, Barack Obama being portrayed as monkeys, J.B. Pritzker, then there, Chuck Schumer, all of his enemies, basically. But I guess you only focus on the
Did
black.
They all have monkeys on the head?
I think
J.B. Pritzker was
a pig.
No, he was an elephant.
An elephant.
Hillary Clinton was the warthog.
Joe Biden was a monkey eating a banana. AOC was something Right.
I forgot.
I think
what
another
she
monkey,
was.
maybe.
Hakeem Jeffrey.
Yeah, Hakeem Jeffrey was
a meerkat. That
a
shit was
meerkat. But I'm like, come on, like y'all only focused on the black people being portrayed as monkeys, and like, come on. But that goes into black people saying the N-word. Like, we all call each other the N-word all day, every day, but as soon as another race say it, or they're not allowed to say it, you know, some people trying to, or at least black people are trying to own the N-word, which I think is bad in itself. Because
I called the mailman that this morning.
Yeah, but it just...
It was...
And then, you know, it even goes back to some of the black people saying, well, we used to, like, that's our word. We own that word. Nobody can say it. Like, why are we claiming a racist term? And some people like to say, well, we used to be called niggas, or however it's spelled when we were kings and queens, but that's not what it means today. Like, even now, like, I'm going to prove a point. Like, if you want to claim the N-word and want to say that shit all day, every day, what's up, nigga? How you doing, nigga? Love you, nigga. Bye, nigga. Like, I think that's bad. But
can a nigga borrow a French fry?
Like, can a nigga borrow a French fry? Nigga, get over here. Nigga, like
I was just confused. How can a nigga borrow a French fry?
And I challenge anyone, if you want to say that shit and own that shit in purity, and say that shit whenever you want and you think you own it, go say that shit to your white boss. Go walk into an all-staff meeting and greet everybody, regardless of race. What's up, nigga? You ain't gonna do that shit.
I did it.
You did that shit?
But I was saying it on my way out the door. Like, fuck you niggas. Yeah, I'm out.
Like, if you a CEO, go into your quarterly meeting and you black, and again, I'm not talking about your buddy that got you hired at Walmart, or your supervisor that got you hired at Amazon, and y'all cool and y'all say nigger to each other in the back room all day, every day. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your real boss, the one that signed your check. You know, you're not going to say that to your investors if you got a company or you're trying to start a business. You're not going to greet them that way. You're going to go in there and talk professional like you got some goddamn sense.
Yeah. My whole issue is with this is because it seems like, and I don't know how true it is, but it's been this way for a very long time in terms of what I can remember. And this is going back, we talking about way back. It seems like whenever black people get to a certain plateau or a certain area, it only takes that one thing to throw them completely off. And it could be right in the middle of whatever. And they'd be like, you know what, just throw some monkeys eating bananas on there and call them a nigger. And it disrupts the entire flow. People freak the fuck out over a name. And it's just like, okay, as an adult, it's like you resort to taking name calling that serious is that it disrupts your entire life or whatever it is that you got going because you were called a name. Somebody called you a name. Somebody called you poo-poo head and you done lost your cool and now you ready to go to jail because you pulled out a pistol and shot him. What you shoot him for? He called me a poo-poo head, man. Fuck that nigga. Like, okay, you got called a name and you're not aware enough to be like, this is a name call. When I saw the video, I was laughing because it's like, if you were to do an AI between and ask AI, what type of animal would Michelle Obama be? I bet you would come back a monkey. I guarantee you. And I'm not calling her an ugly woman. I think she's a very handsome woman, but it ain't the first chick that you go out to and you at a club and be like, I'm gonna go holler at her. But again, ask AI is like, hey, take Michelle Obama and turn it into any zoo animal, and I'm willing to bet money that it's going to come back a monkey. But it only takes that for other people. It's not even Obama and Michelle that got, well, I'm pretty sure they mad about it, but that would be on them. It's not for other people to sit there and get mad about what somebody else got called. It's like, unless you were in the video portrayed as a monkey, it really shouldn't bother you too much. But you already labeled this dude a racist, a homophobe, a misogynist, a Hitler. You already ran down the list. So why should this be anything new to you? You already said he was a racist. What, you trying to prove it to everybody else now? Because everybody else don't care. I've seen more people in defense for him saying that this is stupid versus more people that were mad at him. And the people that are mad at him are right now are the ones that are getting paid and benefiting off of this ignorance that black people have towards being called something. It's like, oh, he called us a nigga. This is going to set us back, to the 1960s.
Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Joe Biden.
A bunch of, now we niggas are monkeys again. It's like, no, dude, you're a monkey and you're a nigger because you sit there and you've accepted that in your head that somehow this brainwashes you and limit your thought capacity. When I see it, I'm just like, oh, well, part of the game. I was like, advance. You don't like it, go change it. Go beat them. Go do something.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to justify the N-word, but it just, like, I think at this point we shouldn't give it so much power like that in any way, shape, or form. It just make us look bad. Like, we could just be sitting there having a nice conversation and somebody, comes up and say the N-word or bring up something racist or something traumatized, and it just takes over us, and then, like, us being outraged, it doesn't benefit us. Like, even down to protesting, like, we got to do something different. Like, even down to picking, the people that represent us, because they supposedly speak for us, and we might be like, man, I don't agree with everything he says, but I'm glad he defending us, or she, or whoever. But then it's like, I don't agree with that standpoint. Like, we don't have to make it always about race. But then, I ain't surprised if Trump did it on purpose, if it was an accident, I'm surprised he's not doing it more.
Yeah,
I wonder if it's accident, not on purpose, but just, jabbing back at people, pushing their buttons. Cause I'm like, man, it's like, I'm surprised it's not even happening more. Cause I be seeing them flip off people.
Right. But think about it. If you're in that position of power, right, and you got your opposition, you already know who your opposition is. And it's like, how easy it is to sit there and poke them and freak them out. It's like, why wouldn't you? I'm like, let's be honest. It's like, dude is a power player, regardless of all the crap that he taught. It's like, dude know how to get it. I'm like, this dude been in business for over 50 years, dealing with some of the most sharkiest shark and some of the most dishonest people ever. And I was like, you don't think he's to this point where he's just masterminded this shit? Like, I'll just put some monkeys up, have him flip out about that, because in a couple of weeks, I'm going to go get this voting law act repealed, and I'm going to get rid of that shit. So while they complaining about the monkeys, they about to lose like 20 seats.
Yeah.
So let them have it.
I think the Democrats going to win in midterms. Like, I don't think, because they always
now that he got hit,
they fuck up or do something.
No, they got hit with that voter ID now.
But
they rezoning all of this stuff. I'm like, nah.
But
they're trying to make sure that they not gonna be out of power position.
Yeah, but I like, even now, like, I still want an apology from Hillary Clinton for calling a little black girl a super predator.
Oh, she called black teenagers super predator. It wasn't a girl.
Man,
she called a whole bunch of them. And Joe Biden was right up there with him.
You don't vote for me, you ain't black.
No, he doing that speech, or that crime bill speech. Go back and listen to
that bill speech.
Yeah,
we don't need another nigger mayor. Yeah. But I know he was just reading the speech, and I know y'all gonna say that. No. I know y'all gonna say that.
I'm not even talking about that part. I'm talking about the part where he was sitting there talking about, I don't want my wife to walk down the street or my brother to get knocked upside the head by one of these predators running. He was talking about niggas. And the same thing he said about, oh, poor people are just as smart as white kids. And it's like, oh, okay, so it's only niggas that's poor. And again, like you said, oh, if you don't vote for me, then you're not black. I'm like, what white person in their right mind? You would not accept that for me. I got white people in my family, and if one of them were to say some stupid shit like that, we'd have to be like, we got to bury this body somewhere.
In order to walk into a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, you got to sit there and talk like a Jeep in them. Like, nigga, he's not racist. You was brought into the game by Strom Thurmond, a known Ku Klux Klan, right next to Robert Byrd, who he said was his mentor and father figure at this dude's funeral. So you don't think that these type of people play some type of role in your life when they sitting there telling you how to play the game and you want to listen to it? I'm pretty sure they sat down like, listen, when you play the game, especially with these niggas, just make sure that you tell them that you on their side and blah, 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 blah. And you don't think that he sat there like, no, Strom Thurmond or Robert Byrd, I don't believe you guys. I'm gonna go out there and be honest. So get out of here.
Yeah, but they all, as we said, in the past, like they all have they grew up around it. They parents, like you were saying on the other show, like their parents, like that's what they grew up on. Like that's their. I'm not saying that their 100% mentality, but with some of these politicians on the left and the right, you cannot be surprised when they slip up and they do something racist, or they get caught on a hot mic or slapping some girl butt, grab them by the pussy, or any of this other stuff. Like, you cannot be surprised at this. Like, that's why we have to pick and choose who we put in power. And who represent us, but it's all the same.
Even at that level, it's like they all just different cogs and it's the same big wheel. It's like I don't think any of them are any better than the next one.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My only issue that I take with it is just admit to it. It's just, instead of people running around claiming that one side is better for you than the other, it's like, no, all of them are crooks. And just accept it and be like, hey, all of them some crooks, but I like the way this crook does business. And be like, break it down XYZ. Like, for me, example, I was like, if I had to go and punch a number or punch a name today, I would go punch Donald Trump, no problem. Why? Because I cannot stand being on a crybaby ass team. That to me just don't make sense. You gonna cry about everything versus actual action. And this dude take actions however you like it or not. I was like, but dude is winning. You don't see him sitting up there crying and flailing about it. It's like, no, dude up there getting the stuff that he needs to have passed. And in the meantime, people will cry about it. Your enemies are crying. I can throw out a monkey video and just fuck you all up. Because now you got the monkey video playing in your head. In the meantime, I'm back here operating, doing what I got to do. I would prefer to be on a team like that versus the opposition. I'm going to just cry. He was racist. He sat up there and said we was monkeys and blah, 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 blah. Whatever, man. I'm not going to be around a bunch of crybabies. And I'm definitely not going to hang out with a bunch of people that think it's okay for 5-year-olds to change their sex. That's just stupid. So you lose me on that one. I'm voting for the racists 9 times out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I can do what you. I'm like, with all of that stuff, I'm like, I can't really fuck with either one of them, because I'm like, on the one hand, I mean, like on both hands, I'm like, neither one of them have any. It's like my interest is not. My interest is not on any of their minds. I can't put myself in any vision of seeing myself of going and like fully agreeing and supporting any of these people. And I'm like, I know for a fact Donald Trump don't give a shit about what I got going on.
No, he don't care.
I'm like whether you care, whether you. I'm not with that. They're picking the lesser of two evil shit, and I'm not with that. I'd rather you lie to my. I'd rather know that you lying to my face than to the person. To pretend like they not lying. Like, the fact of the matter is, they both lying to you. They both don't give a fuck about you. So I'm like, I'm not gonna pick one side just because I know that they're a crook, and I know and that person is honest about it. It's like, the fuck sense do that make? I'm like, you gonna pick to hang out with the rapist because he says, hey, I'm gonna rape you, versus the other person that pretends like he's not gonna do it. It's like, either way, you getting raped. So it's like,
I think he posted on purpose. I don't care what nobody said. He got up there and said,
I'm pretty sure you could be like, I'm not hanging out with neither one.
And that's where I stand. I'm not hanging with either one of them. So
I don't want any Kool-Aid. I'm good.
That's my whole entire point. So I'm like, there's no,
just drink some water.
There's no picking the lesser of two evils. There's no picking the person that's outright being a liar or outright playing the game or whatever. I'm like, fuck all of that. I'm like,
you wouldn't go to a Diddy party? What's R. Kelly party? I'm just you finna go there and have a real good time. Like, I ain't going none of the rooms.
It would have been an alert went up no sooner the chick walked past with the tray of baby oil. Like, I ordered a drink. I was like, why is she walking with
all right. And you guys got the next one, or I'm gonna keep going through?
Oh, you can go ahead.
You can go. We got the only one I got is the.
All right. So this is another issue that's been going around on the internet. This is TikTok therapy, social media therapy, and then this is something that's affecting our kids. The young generation is growing up in the world. They're getting all their therapy. They're getting their fatherly advice. They're getting their motherly advice from TikTok, Instagram. We all see the video. Not sure if you guys remember Derek Jackson, the guy that was giving relationship videos online. Then he ended up cheating on his wife, and then he had the picture of them both sitting on a couch. You don't remember?
I heard about it, but I don't follow none of them people. All them damn relationship experts. And
you see all the videos online. If your wife ain't doing this and XYZ, she cheating on you. She's going out there. If you come home and your man don't
red pill shit.
Yeah, your man come home and he don't say how you doing, how is your day going on, rub your feet. He ain't treating you right, or vice versa. Like even down to the kids. If your parents ain't doing this when they coming home, if they not making sure you thriving in life and paying for all your stuff, you shouldn't have to pay for anything. You should have an easy life. When you turn 18, they supposed to buy you a car. They supposed to give you cash anymore. Cash. What kids do chores anymore? That's complete outdated. A kid shouldn't have to take the trash out. That's not. It gets real deep.
I don't know what the hell come across your feed. I don't see none of that shit.
Because it's the as a parent, I see it. I see what the kids be talking about. Like, they come to you and say, well, such and such didn't have to do all this. Why they gotta do all this just to get a car? I want to have a big birthday party, et cetera, et cetera. Sharon mom did it for her, and they throw it in your face at the parent. Now you trying to feel bad, and they trying to manipulate you in some type of way. I know you see it. We all parents here.
My kids ain't crazy. Trust me, my kids ain't crazy. They don't even bring that shit with me. They know
I'm from that ass whooping there, and you get your ass whooped.
I know what you're saying, but like this stuff don't come across my feed, and if it does, I like it's something that I immediately scroll past. So my algorithm is like, I guess he don't care about that, and I'm like, I get what you're saying, and then sometimes the like the relationship stuff do come across my feed, but I don't know. I've always been of the mindset of like, hey, I'm not taking no parenting advice from people that don't have kids that
well, it's not that. It's the kid. It's the kid that gives their therapy from
That's what I'm saying, and this is the stuff that I talk to my kids about. I'm like, hey, look, I'm not taking no advice from. I'm not taking marital advice from those single women that ain't never never been in a real marriage, successful marriage. I'm not taking no relationship advice from no man that all he has ever done is just sleep with women after women and never been married. I'm not taking parental advice from people that ain't never had kids. I'm like, none of that stuff. I'm like, and above all of that, I'm not taking no life advice from nobody off of the internet. Especially, like, I don't have TikTok, but like Instagram, I'm like that. I'm like this. People give these blanket rules and blanket strategies and stuff that's supposed to like cover all the different nuances and intricacies of everybody's situation. Is like that's not how that works. I'm like, there's a reason why actual licensed therapists have these positions, because they can connect with you on a personal basis and give you tailored advice to your actual situation. But in this day and age, everybody puts so much value and so much currency in social media and followers and likes and all this other stuff. It's like, hey, if you got X amount of people following you, then you must be right. And it's like those things don't go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all of that shit is just it's nonsense. And
I just do it because I'm too old and I don't want to hear other people's shit. So to me, it's like it doesn't even. It doesn't register.
I've seen that. I've seen the thing. It was just like the black men don't cheat stuff, but it's just another thing that people just be posting and talking about. I don't take none of that stuff seriously, man.
Now you do. You remember? I know you saw that before.
No, I don't know who that is. I mean, I recognize the face because I remember it becoming it was a talking point. Where people were talking about this guy that has been giving relationship advice. Finally came out that he was cheating on his wife the whole time and shit.
Yeah,
I don't care. So I'm like, I didn't click on it. I didn't look into it.
It's still the point of some of the kids nowadays are getting their what we consider therapy from TikTok and social media, and it is being implemented towards the parents. And some of the parents are like, why are you thinking that way? Why do you think things work this way and how things should go in life? But then, they're not necessarily coming out telling their parents, well, I got this advice from from TikTok. The same thing that men had to deal with years ago when the Oprah show came out. They're coming out with all these points and what a man should be doing in the household, and then now all these men pushing back and giving it backlash. Like, why all of a sudden our relationship got problems? Well, I've been watching the Oprah show, and Oprah been saying this and man, like y'all couldn't tell me y'all didn't deal with any of that.
I mean, I remember hearing about it, and Cosmo magazine, they get the little questionnaires and shit. But I'm like I said earlier, I'm like, I don't care about none of that shit. And I tell my kids that only one of them is on social media, and it's the oldest one. And I'm like, and I tell her, I'm like, hey, what happens on in that box? I'm like, that shit ain't real. I'm like, in the real world, like that's not how stuff goes. And when you are out in the real world, you're gonna see that none of that stuff helps you whatsoever. I'm like, you may find some, something that, can give you some kind of, guideline to, how you could handle a particular situation. But it's just like, hey, what happens on Instagram and social media, that shit ain't real. That's not real life.
Just to interject there, I did buy one of those like little flint rock things, just in case your ass gets stuck in the woods somewhere, you can start a fire. I think that's beneficial. So I did learn that up. I got that motherfucker in the car. I was like, hey, you never know. I might slide off the road and shit and be like, day 13.
Like with the subject that he's talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Just like none of that shit is.
Just going completely off topic.
All that shit is fake, man. I don't listen to none of them
I
people.
think it applies to whoever is delivering the message. And if a person goes through an experience and they make it out the other end and they feel that, they accomplished something and decide to share that information. The only difference is that things work out differently for other people. So the situations are not going to be the same in 100% of the scenarios. So it's not like people on TikTok or any other media is giving out bad information, as it is that nobody is going to have that same situation and outcome. The variable's not going to line up and stuff. So, I mean, there are like the little quotes and stuff from different people that pops up. And, Jackie does this. She has like the little quote for the day, and it'll give a quote from, somebody famous or back in the day. It doesn't read too much into it, but it gives you a generalized idea of, like motivation, like those, posters that they had to hang in there, Katie and all that other stuff. I was like, so to me, it's like those can be beneficial if you're in the right state of mind and you just need to, get something to get you motivated. But like you said, when people are sitting there talking about a specific thing and they're expecting everybody else to handle it the same way, like, yeah, chances are it won't.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't translate to every situation. And then for the most part, even when they do, be having, good advice, because I can't lie, like there's been times where, I may come across it and somebody may say something like, okay, that makes sense. But for the most part, people are not going to implement it correctly. They're just going to weaponize it. Like they take this stuff and they be like, hey, as such and such person, said, and then these people, they get doctor put in front of their name. It's like, oh, Dr. X, XYZ said, that men should be doing this and this. And if they not, then they got some issues or whatever and all this other stuff. And it's like you just weaponizing it. And it's like, instead of, sitting down and having a conversation like, hey, this is how I'm feeling, or here's a idea, go to a therapist, like go to a couples counseling or something like that. Like if that's what you feel like your relationship is having issues that you want to fix and you don't know the correct way to fix them off the top of your head, it's like go see an actual professional that can give you tailored advice instead of taking stock generic, information, that is extremely broad and then, pinpointing it down to fit, whatever game that you want to get out of a
I agree. It can be I agree. It can be dangerous because a lot of time when they don't go to a professional, they go online and then they see some video that sound good, the person talking good, they receive it as good, but then they try to apply it, to their parent or apply it to real life, but then it don't work out that way. But then, like a lot of these kids nowadays are really going through something, but they prefer to have a conversation with their friends about it because their friends are just going to keep telling them, yeah, you're right. No, your parents wrong, or he wrong, or she wrong. They should be doing this. They should be doing that. A therapist is not going to tell you that shit. A therapist is going to talk you through it and make you answer them questions, and you figure it out for yourself, because no one should be telling you, what is right or wrong based on their perspective, especially if the other person is trying to sleep with you. That's a whole nother. Oh yeah, girl, I'm like, you whatever you say, yeah, you right. Drop your pants like that. That's that's what these guys.
What American school did you go to?
No.
I graduated from the class of the '80s, and we didn't.
You know how you got to kind of take advantage of a vulnerable person in a situation. Like it kind of applies to everybody. It doesn't mean sexual. It doesn't mean that.
I was just joking. I was trying to get you out of a jam just in case some shit come back later. He told me to drop my drawers, and then like, oh shit!
Took advantage of me. I was vulnerable at the time because I was having an argument.
Delete episode 6, whatever episode.
All right, I know we still got some other ones on the way, but I wanted to talk to you guys about the Tracy Morgan incident, or at least the controversial thing that supposedly happened.
Probably that's interesting. Have you heard about that?
I have not.
So Tracy Morgan was, I guess, walking into a building or outside with
he was coming out to Staples Center.
Coming out to Staples Center, and I guess you meet and greet fans, you say hi and bye, but I guess this guy walked up to him and said, "Hey, do you remember who I am?" And Tracy Morgan remembered who he was, and I guess apparently the guy used to bully him when he was real young, not sure of the age, but the guy was homeless. So he was like, "Hey, can you help me out? I'm giving abroad. I don't know all the details."
Yeah, I looked into it a little bit more. So they used to, he was a comic. They were coming up in the comic scene around the same time or whatever. And I guess, I guess as comics, like, they, going back and forth and ribbing each other or whatever. But whatever the case, this guy was like, more than just the ribbing or whatever. And it got to the point where like Tracy was just like, yeah, I'm just not, like, I don't fuck with this dude. And he was just like a real asshole to him or whatever. And so Tracy was coming outside of the game. It was a basketball game or something. They were coming out, and they had the celebrity VIP exit or whatever. And he was coming out, and I guess people were crowding around the cameras and stuff. So this guy must have known that he was coming out of there, and he knows that there's cameras around and stuff, and obviously they know that they got history, whatever. So he approached him, and he was saying, "Hey, can you do something for me, or can you help me out, or something like that?" And Tracy saw him, and he was like, "No," he was like, I know who you are," and he was like, "And I remember what you said to me when we were younger." He's like, "I ain't forgot," whatever. He's like, "Can you do something for me?" He was like, "No." He was like, "No, I ain't forgot," or whatever. And he said, "But I'm homeless." And he said, "I ain't do that." He was like, "I'm good." He was like, "All right, that ain't got nothing to do with me." And like all the people around, oh, and like, so he was getting a little backlash about it or whatever. It was like, at what point do you?
Yeah, he was getting backlash.
But it was
because he's homeless. I'm guessing people felt like that should have discounted whatever the hell beef they had back in the day or whatever.
But like to the contrary, like you come into you become rich and famous, and you got some money, you got some weight, you doing well for your life.
Hold on, time out. I'm sorry. I thought you had to make
that's legit.
Hold on. Wait, what are people mad about? They mad
I'm gonna break it down for you.
All right, go ahead. I'm laughing in my head though, because I think this shit is hilarious.
But what happened was people started to have conversation about it, because there was a lot of people in that type of position that Tracy Morgan was in. You got a little bit of money, you got a little bit of fame, you up there, you doing well in your life, but you see somebody you used to know or somebody you used to hang out with, or they treated you poorly, they bully you, but then you see them later on in life. That shit happened to me now. I see people I used to hang out with. A lot of times they ain't doing so well, and they ask for help. And for me, no, you was an asshole to me. I ain't giving you shit. how would you handle that situation? You got money now. You see somebody that you used to hang out with. They was either a good friend, they was a bully. Like, would you help that person? Like, but some people were trying to tell Tracy Morgan, like, no, you wrong. Like, you God has blessed you. You're doing well for yourself. I'm just saying, but you know how the social media world is.
Man, fuck social media. You know what? This has been boiling up on me in a minute. Society nowadays suck. People suck. And I'm just letting it out there. I no longer care. Because people just make up the rules as they go. Yes, and to sit up here and tell me that somebody treated you like shit, dogged your name, dragged you through the mud, and then had the audacity to turn around out of all people and ask you for something, and when you say no, now all of a sudden they the asshole? How does that work? How does that work? Because I'm the biggest asshole that ever walked the planet then. Because don't come to me like that. I was like, I can understand if it was a good friend or there was something in the past that we got disconnected and we were still on good terms. And now that I see you, then I understand. Now, if it's within reason that I can help you, like get a meal or something, or I got a couple of extra $100 in my pocket that I'm not going to miss, then okay. But I'm not about to extend and put myself in a bad situation or even a compromised situation to bend over backwards to somebody that I don't like. That's just not part of the game. It's like, no. Like,
what with the old girl that you used to like, but they used to call you a clown. Nobody ain't gonna talk to you.
I've been called all types
Can
of
you
names.
help me?
Yeah, beat it.
Man, I'm struggling out here.
OnlyFans now.
You driving Mercedes now?
The only argument that I kind of understood a little bit was the argument was like I wouldn't have went out my way to to do anything or whatever like that for him, but I probably wouldn't have. They were like, he was like, I wouldn't have talked to him like that, especially with the cameras, because then it comes back on the your reception, and then they were just like, I would have said like, I got nothing for you. Like, me and you got history or whatever. And he was like, I got nothing for you.
So, I mean, outside of Tracy Morgan telling the dude like, no, I remember what you said. Did he say anything derogatory? Like that was,
these social media.
He didn't say anything. He did. The guy didn't say anything else. He, asked him could he help him out or whatever. And Tracy, after Tracy said, like, no, I got nothing for you. He's like, I remember you. I remember what you said. And then the guy, he said something else. And then I think he like asked him like, you can't help me out. And Tracy was like, no. But like the tone of Tracy's voice, it sounded like he was really triggered. And like in the moment, he was like, his tone of voice was very aggressive. He was just like, no, and said like super loud. And then when the guy said, I'm homeless, he was like, I ain't do that. He was like, I ain't do that. And it was just like, I think people was like, just like I said, the only argument that I had any small amount of agreement with was just like, I just would have, the tone of voice and the interaction. He would have just did it differently. He was like, nah, I just got nothing for you. And would have just kept it moving as opposed to
it was a black guy?
Yeah, it was a black guy. And the crazy thing, this black guy, I think he had dreads, but he had a coat on. The coat looked like a decent coat. He, like, I don't know, it's different situations from being homeless, but it's just like, it looked like a nice coat to me.
I wonder if it was a white dude that sat there and called Tracy Morgan a nigga back in the day, and then asked for help, would the outrage would have still been the same. Like, I remember you called me a nigga. Everybody in the crowd would have probably jumped dude and whooped his ass. I was like, it's the same rules apply. It's like, okay, it's no different from that. Take it as that. What if dude like said something against his mom after his mom just died?
Who knows? Like, I don't think Tracy has ever came out and spoke on the situation afterward or whatever and actually clarified it. Yeah. It's all just been hearsay and people that, claim to be, familiar with the situation and all this other stuff. I don't think Tracy actually confirmed anything. Yeah. But only thing we know is apparently whatever the hell interaction or relationship they had back in the day, Tracy wasn't too fond of the way their last few interactions.
Probably stole his girl or some shit.
I'll take. I'm on Tracy's side for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I don't. Like I said, I wouldn't. I'm like, this is not how I talk to people. Like, cause like I said, it was pretty aggressive. Even though he didn't like get in his face, he was like still moving through the crowd or whatever. But it's just like, I'm like, dog, I got nothing for you, man. Like, hey, you know what our relationship was. Like, I got nothing for you, and we kept it moving. But that's the only thing. And that's even still, it's like, hey, you can't fucking tell people how to react. It's like I see it all the time. Yeah. I'm like, every time, anytime you see, the videos, people always get mad at the reaction, but they don't get mad at the action that causes the reaction.
Right.
It's like when you see a fight or whatever, or somebody in somebody's face and they swing on them, and then the other person swing back and knock them out. Then all of a sudden, everybody jumping up like, oh, stop! Like, motherfucker, he swung me first.
Oh yeah,
it's like how you. Any situation, it's like, hey, and especially when it's a man and a woman. Like, especially if it's like a man and a woman or something like that.
Fight on that cruise we went on too, because dudes talking shit. I was like, man, you get
into a fight with me on Carnival Cruise. Overboard.
Yeah. I'm like, people always get mad at the reaction, especially when it's a man and a woman going back and forth, and the woman is just saying like the most vile shit, and the man is like trying to walk away, the woman all in his face. And then she started hitting him, and then he finally swing back, and now everybody want to jump in, and everybody got something to say. And it's like, yo, none of y'all was trying to get this chick out of my face.
You remember the brick lady?
Oh,
the lady got hit in the face with the brick, and now all of a sudden she started a GoFundMe, and she raised a whole bunch of money, but then they took it away from her because they found her she was lying.
Oh, I know which one you talking about.
I remember seeing. I don't remember what the incident was.
Well, she tried to claim that the guy threw a brick in her face, but then she, when the video came out, that she was all in his face and slapped him, and he was like, oh, then he fixed his glasses, and then all of a sudden you see a brick flying through the air, and you get smacked and wake up in the hospital.
My dad used to call them alley biscuits.
Alley biscuits.
Catch an alley biscuit.
Good Lord, how you throw a brick at somebody's face, man?
Shit, you get mad enough. Yeah, like you talk the right amount of shit, you'll catch one.
All right, we gonna next one.
I can piggyback off of that. I was thinking, like, do you think society? I know your answer probably, but
here we go.
Do you think society has taken empathy too far, as far as like just the trying to justify every situation and give people passes for everything because they've been through XYZ in their past and stuff. It's like, if you've been through a trauma 20 years ago, it's like, does that still give you license to be an asshole today?
I think,
or just be an all around bad person.
I think in today's time, when we have everything going on through social media, and you got the individuals that post all their business online, or whether if you profit from it, some people, it doesn't give you a pass to be an asshole. It also doesn't give you a pass to where, if you need help, if you need closure, get that shit. Because you cannot just keep using that shit to shit on people. You got to move forward. You got to get past it, because life goes on. Like,
I'm just talking about as far as society not holding, the lack of accountability when it comes to people, doing stuff, and they get to write it off and write it off as a reaction or being triggered by something, and then.
But I would just think it's just
individual, but society at large.
Selective outrage. I think selective outrage plays into it, and you applying yourself to a certain ideology or a certain group and thinking that, because I did it, I should be able to get away with it. But then every once in a while you get those fuck around and find out moments. And then now you got to suffer the consequences. But then when you get who is those people that give that pass? Who are those people that just say, hey, we ain't going to worry about it? But then it's the people that actually suffer the consequences, that actually face consequences. Like, do you think it just be too harsh on them, or it just like, hey, this kind of been building up, like Don Lemon. It kind of been building up, and now I did it, and now I'm actually fucking around and finding out. Just like, hey, you know, would you go in to a voting place and vote twice? You know, you said, nah, it'll be the time where I get caught when they, you know, they paying attention. I kind of apply that same way, but then it's, you know, it's kind of weird.
I think when it comes down to as far as you said empathy, right?
Yeah, just taking empathy too far.
Yeah. I think it's based on the generations too. Again, it seems like nowadays this generation has less things to worry about than previous generations, and so on and so forth. I mean, it always trickled down the lines. So an example is to sit there, and I don't know if y'all are into war documentaries or anything like that, but I for whatever reason, I'm fascinated with World War II and the Vietnam War and the wars that took place in those eras, because you're talking about men that were built differently. And at the age of 18, 19 years old, they flying overseas to go take care of a battle that they knew nothing about, but it's blood and guts, and you got to run directly up on your enemy in order to spill blood. And I'm talking about taking a human being's life. And not to say that, you know, it's just that there was a different generation of society. Is a different generation of man. So that man that made it out of World War II, after you done choked the shit out of somebody and it was probably like your 33rd person that you killed that day, it's like there's very little that's going to, you know, complicate the rest of your life, because you already know the hardest thing that you've done was taking somebody else's life. Fast forward that 20 more years, you got, you know, the South Korean War and then the Vietnam War, and these people were battle hardened because they dealt with way more shit than today's generation deal with. As opposed, you skip another generation, you come through the era where, you know, men still had to be men, go out and work 12 hours a day, whether it was a farmland or some steel mill or something. But you're talking about a generation that was hardened. These are like hardcore dudes, as opposed to now you sit there and make videos all day on YouTube or something. And it's like, what do you know about being hard? And it's like, that is going to come with empathy, because you haven't really been through anything to gauge, you know, where that steel comes from, that steel that you made of. You nowhere on the gauge in your current life to say like, well, yeah, I did have to go out and, you know, go choke the shit out of this dude over this land feud that we was having and all this other stuff. This generation to me is way softer than, of course, the prior generations, because they had more to go through. But this generation to me is just like, it's, man, I wouldn't want to be a teenager in today's society, because it's just like, you got nothing to compare what's a hard life to you?
Well, it's like that old saying, it was like hard times create hard men, and hard men create soft times, and then soft times create soft men, and then soft men create hard times.
Oh crap, I didn't hear that one.
You heard that before?
Yeah, you might have to say that again.
I did. So hard times create hard men.
Got you. Okay.
Hard men create soft times. Soft times create soft men, and then soft men create hard times.
Oh well, shit. Yeah,
so
well, there
it's
you go.
Like a loop.
Yeah, I think times have changed, at least as far as from the kid standpoint and the growing adults. It just, you know, some of the stuff that for the empathy part, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I just want to say, man, y'all ain't been through shit. Like, y'all got it kind of easy right now. Like, y'all
like every generation feels that way about the generation underneath them.
Yeah,
I'm like, you got to deal with what? Like, you have to worry about this. Like, no. Wait till you get 18 to where I can't help you no more, because you're 18 and I can't do anything. Like, you got to figure this stuff out on your own. Like, I can't book this for you. I can't do this for you. I can't go out there and do this. You know, it just, like you should have got some of this shit done before you were 18. But now that you're 18 and you're an adult, like there is no more, even as parents nowadays trying to raise kids, it's like certain things you want to, teach your kids as they growing up, that you got to have certain things in place. I have a certain mindset, or you go off to college, or you getting a job. Like, this job builds, good character. Like, go to school, like, interact with people, get off the social media. Don't just doom scroll. Don't be up at 3 and 4 in the morning knowing you got to get up for class, or you get up for work. That applies for anybody because it can drive you crazy. But at a certain point, do empathy go out the window? Like, it kind of does, because then it's, this, like,
I'm just like, when I'm saying as far as taking empathy, like you were saying, just like as a society, are we becoming too soft? Is everything like, it feels like everything is a woe is me, and you should, allow me to do this, or I should not have to face consequences because X, Y, and Z happened to me, or I'm sad, I'm depressed about, about this.
Yeah, but it's not gonna. I think because of that, you can't say yes and no.
Everything is a victim mentality.
But then society will come back around and slap you in the face and give you a reality check.
That's the thing, though, is it? Because it's like it's becoming the thing of not holding people accountable for the things that's happening, and even just like real world shit. It's just like, hey, if you fuck around and you do something and you lose your job, and then you have a hard time finding another job, you still have to pay your rent. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, it's like people are like, oh, well, no, I lost my job. Don't evict me. It's not my fault. I lost my job. X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah.
I think that, like, no, I think what you just said, that's reality coming to slap you in the face, because your bills don't care about.
Yeah, but but then that's when they go into the victim role, and then it becomes, no, it's not my fault. I'm not the one that's the problem. The landlord is the problem because he's not being, he's not working with me. He's not, being understanding that I lost my job and I can't find another one. He's the problem. He's the asshole.
Well,
and it's just like you can get online and you can make a whole story of a thread of everything that led up to this, and then you'll still have thousands of people coming online like, yeah, the landlord is an asshole. He should understand. What's the big deal? He should be able to do this. He should be able to allow you to skip a month.
That means that the thousands of people that are replying to that shit never read a lease.
Yeah,
I mean, hey,
that's the reality coming around.
That's the thing. It's like they don't care about that shit. It's like, hey, no, I'm going through a hard time, so you should accommodate me.
Yeah,
and it's just like everything is becoming, it's like the society is just becoming a big ass accommodation instead of.
Don't bring your hard times around me, because you will definitely be like, this guy's an asshole. And I'll tell you too. Like, yes, you are correct. Good luck with your rent. But
but you know what's funny? I think that plays into that shit. Don't apply to men. We ain't getting no sympathy.
Oh, hell no! And just like that old Chris.
I was just talking about, dude.
We as men, we are not. That's not. We can't do that shit. We can't go online and be like, my landlord don't understand my light bill, my credit card bill, my car bill, my kids, my etc. Men don't get sympathy.
A part of the LGBT community or something like that.
Yeah, men, we don't get sympathy. We can't pull that shit off. They're gonna be like, man, this nigga need to get a job.
It's like that old Chris Rock joke. Only people that have that I loved unconditional are women, kids, and dogs.
Yeah, like that shit.
This is like a man is only loved when you can do something, when you can provide something. It's like outside of that. It's like,
that shit ain't. I don't see myself going online and be like, I can't pay my bill, I can't pay my rent. This landlord gonna put me out.
If it's 1,000 people,
they gonna clown my ass.
You might want to give it a shot.
And you start that GoFundMe.
Yeah, man. I don't think.
People,
if you really want to take a shot, what we can do is go in the alley and just film a video of you getting hit in the head with a brick. Now, me personally, I would not throw the brick.
What's his name? Juicy Smoothie.
Yeah,
like Dave Chappelle say.
Oh, man.
Juicy Smoothie.
Get hit in the head, but this would be like on point. You just got to take that headshot. That's how.
Get this one on camera.
I mean, but you think that applies to like with the whole sympathy thing and just bringing up something as far as Billie Eilish? She said she was stolen land.
Yeah, Eilish.
I'm not trying to.
She's a kid.
What's going on with her?
The whole stolen land and billionaires and why she's a billionaire and her. Well, you don't know. I guess she goes to
something familiar
with the Grammy. I guess she went to some award and she's been like. Nobody's here illegally on stolen land and etc. Like, if you're a billionaire, why haven't you donated, etc. But then all the other billionaires are coming out. We have donated, but then some people be like, have you donated, Billy? But then she said she had, but then I guess the controversy thing was that she said she donated, but she upcharged her customers, I guess $1,000, and just took that upcharged money she got from the customers.
When they say like the percentage of the proceeds.
Yeah, the percentage, and donated that. So it wasn't out of her pocket, it was from the fans, and then people have really started to call her out. But then some of the people have taken, I'm not sure if it's true or not. You see all this shit on the internet where some of the Tonga tribe, where her building or her home, a $14 to $20 million home, is on top of their land, and she said that nobody's an immigrant on stolen land. So legally, they're saying she's admitting that her house is on stolen land, and they put in a deed to try to get the house from her. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but it was.
I mean, that's all just
trending shit,
virtue signaling stuff that people gotta do. They have to do to make sure that they are on record as being on the right side of
they were being on A side.
That's what I'm saying. On the right side,
on A side.
Like, that's all that shit is.
She's like 24 years old, and the way I look at it is like she's a kid. I mean, at my age and turn out, like, she's a kid. She didn't know what she was talking about clearly because she looked high when she said it. And then it's like, you sitting up in $1 million house, is like, you don't venture out into the real world to know what shit's like. And that applies to anybody that's a millionaire that sit up there and talking about we need to tax the rich. And I was like, what, nigga, you are the rich. I was like, so who are you talking about?
It's like
taxes. It's like, that's stupid as hell.
When Ricky Gervais went up there at the Oscars or something a few years back,
and
went into all them damn celebrities, he was like, look, you come up here, your name gets called, come up here, get your reward. We don't want to hear your fucking speech about X, Y, and Z. It's like, you're not in the real world. You don't know what it's like out here in the real world. You like, keep your speech to yourself. Say thank you to your family, your agent, your God, and get the fuck out of here.
He say fuck off shit.
It's like, that's the same thing. It's like, hey, I'm not hearing no fucking. I don't want to hear nothing from no super rich celebrity
trying to tell us to donate. Like,
unless they have
really?
a confirmed track record of donating a very large percentage of their income to fighting these causes that they're
or if your ass damn near homeless.
They don't donate out of their pocket. They donate it out of their
LLC.
That's all they do. They just donate it out of the LLC and they call it there at the tax rate.
I think I asked this question once before. Do y'all know how many billionaires are actually in the United States? Billionaires with a B?
I think it's a lot in New York, but they leaving now. Madami's
I mean, if you to take a guesstimate number, like how many billionaires? Because they keep saying that the billionaires pay their fair share.
I think it's 137. Am I close?
In the country?
In the United States.
In the United States.
I think I thought it was 137.
I wouldn't even be able to make an educated guess.
It's about 1,200. It's 1,100. It's not a lot. It's a small town. But they like, okay, we want all these people to pay the taxes. But when you look at it, top 5% paid like 65% of all the taxes. So you mean to tell me the other 95% can't pay 35% of the taxes? It's like, what the hell are y'all talking about? It's like pay your fair share. And it's like,
that's a part of the. I'm gonna say that's a part of the Democrat playbook. They say every election cycle pay their fair share, but you guys are millionaire too.
Exactly.
Bernie Sanders, you're a millionaire.
Yeah. And man, did you see that dude shut dude down with dude jumped on him and asked him about that? Because it was RFK, as a matter of fact. And Bernie was talking buku shit, and he just reminded me of Larry David from Seinfeld whenever he talks, because I was like, man, dude does the perfect fucking Larry David. And he's like, and you billionaires, bitch, you need to sit there and pay money. So he was sitting there telling this to RFK, and RFK like, dude, you a millionaire, and you got like 5 houses. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, you got more money than anybody. He's like, if anybody should be paying money, should be you. Bernie snap. That's not what we're here for. We were here for talking about billionaires with a B. Like, get your fuck ass out.
Bernie Sanders, you got caught underpaying your staff, doing all types of crazy shit with your budget, so you don't got to pay your staff the appropriate wage. You got caught up too, and you're a millionaire as well. So
yeah, he got all of them.
That's what Bernie.
Bernie Sanders, boy, he got money.
He was like, he don't think billionaires should exist. I'm like, nobody should have that much money. I'm like,
he started off with the millionaires when he wasn't one. Really? When he became a millionaire, it became billionaires.
Well, I mean, I think like, millionaire over time is like that number, that the meaning of it has like it's scaled down a little bit. It's like $1 million is
now that we $1 trillion in debt. Right. I didn't even know it was that something after $1 billion. Like, shit.
I'm getting tired of that. Like how
I remember hearing when it was $6 trillion, and I was thinking like, God damn, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that shit is up to 37.
No, matter of fact, I'm sorry, it was $3 trillion, and that was the first time I heard, because I was a kid. And that was the first time I heard the word trillion as a number, and I was like, trillion, like, I don't know. Mom was watching something on the news or whatever, and they were talking about the states isn't $3 trillion in debt. And I was like, $1 trillion? What's a trillion? Like $3 trillion? And then I was looking at it, and then they were talking like, "Hey, that's a lot of money.
Shit, that's uncountable money. That shit is 37
like trillion." I'm like, God,
$37 trillion.
The U.S. government, $37 trillion, but they get to tell us what's our credit score. That shit don't make any goddamn sense.
Like, y'all don't pay your damn bills.
That isn't even the government. That's a whole. That's a whole different thing. They
your interest rate gonna be 37%, but the government.
Yeah, that's the Fed. They got all of that. That's just some suits on the board sitting somewhere.
That's that's a group of banks that they ain't never got to worry about nothing ever again.
Thing.
But all right, so my next one is.
You can get a last card.
My next one is, do you guys think, well, I was talking to him in the car about it, G over here, but I wanted to get your opinion. Do you guys think that there should be a certain protocol as far as actors go, as far as when they get cast for a certain role and they play these roles too well, then they get only known as those roles? Do you think some of these producers or managers or whoever manage these stars and get them these roles, should there be some type of protocol in place? Let me give you an example. Like Steve Urkel from Family Matters, Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They have a cast from the Harry Potter, cast from Twilight. Another one, I couldn't see Tim Allen as any other character but Santa Claus for a long time. Like, do you think that's kind of bad on? And it even goes down to the Power Rangers now. Like, you don't see them in movies, and not all of them. You don't see them in movies or TV shows. They always got to do these meet and greets in order to make money to sustain a living, because they get typecast as some of these characters, like the Power Ranger, the Red Ranger, the Blue Ranger.
The Power Rangers is different because can they act? Like,
I mean, yeah,
that's a good question.
It's like, yeah, you can fight and do the action scenes, but it's just like, can you act?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they can act. But
who knows? Like,
they ain't winning no Oscars or nothing. I'm like,
no, they ain't winning. But I mean, are there any other character that you can't see play no other role for anything else?
Well, of course. Yeah. Well, no, for not. First and foremost,
Heath Ledger. I can't see anybody else playing a Joker.
No, I think it's the other way around. He's saying, can you see a person not being anything else other than the character that they play?
Exactly.
Oh.
And my perfect example for that is Keanu Reeves. I feel like he's Neo in every single movie.
I agree.
He's just being Keanu. I just can't.
It's the same thing. It's like he's Neo in every fucking movie that I've ever seen.
Like fucking Austin Powers. I can't see him as nothing else as that character.
But I think, I guess it depends on.
His movies are similar of comedy and that same.
Well, he did some serious roles too. Michael Myers. That he was in that Queen movie. where he played serious roles, and it was another movie that he did really good at. And I guess it depends on, again, that actor.
But I feel like it's starting to take effect on Hugh Jackman. I can't see him as anything else but Wolverine, but he's in all these other movies, but I can't see him as anything else but Wolverine.
Oh.
It's like it's really starting to get stuck. I know he's a really big actor. Maybe it doesn't apply to him
Yeah, he
as
does
much.
Hollywood. He does a lot of plays.
He did Sherlock Holmes.
But you can't tell me you don't see Wolverine.
I think it's the other way around for me for Hugh Jackman specifically. I can't see anybody else playing Wolverine.
I can see Henry Cavill.
Huh?
Henry Cavill when he was in the Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Oh yeah, I knew. Yeah,
he was like, "Holy mother," whatever he called him.
like even the cast like from like Harry Potter. Like all I see is Harry Potter.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I cannot
that would be a good example.
Like, I cannot,
especially
see
Malfoy. I've seen him some stuff. I was like, "Get Malfoy, get your ass out of here!"
God,
Yeah.
but it's just
he was in the Planet of the Apes movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's and I felt the same way.
Because I think like Malfoy. Even now,
Potter.
Yeah.
Like I know Carlton from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he got it really bad. Like,
there's a few characters like that, but I think it's down to just the things that they have done since then. It's like the guy that played in Everybody Hates Chris. It's like for a while, it's like that was him, and then he started doing that show Abbott Elementary. And he actually did good.
I love that show.
It was like so now it's like I still see it, but as an adult, it's like when I look at him, my picture goes to the Abbott Elementary show.
I mean, it's like
I'm like Carlton ain't did Alphonse Ribeiro.
Yeah,
he's like he hasn't done anything of note like since Fresh
Not
Prince.
movie wise. He been on that laughing TV show, video show, or whatever. And I guess it depends. Like you were saying, it depends on the actor and what they've been and how long. So we watched Carlton for how many seasons? Like 7,
9, 8.
Yeah, that's a long time when you just watch somebody that long and be like, oh, well, I know what's going to happen this week with Carlton. Same thing with the Harry Potter. It's like we watch those kids grow up.
Yeah,
it's
literally.
So it's like, I can't see Daniel Radcliffe, doing anything other than Harry Potter, although he has been in some good movies. But again, like you said, every time I see him, I'm seeing Harry Potter. Same thing with Ron Weasley. He was in a movie and I was just staring at him, waiting for a wand to bust out.
A broken one.
Yeah, especially though, damn man, that's fucking Twilight, boy.
But
I wouldn't recognize them if they
boys.
walk past me. I probably wouldn't even
I
recognize
know
them.
I would. The problem with that though, that's coming up because they keep making advancements in it, and this dude just did a movie. I got to look that up. I don't want to say that because I'm not 100% sure, but the AI is becoming better and better. It's like, so these actors and actresses, they got a limited time. I think it was Elon Musk talking about you got till like 2030 before all this shit is gone. And it really shows it's like, who's going to keep making these $200 million movies and nobody shows up? Because they just went through that with The Rock, with the Smashing Machine, which I was actually going to watch because I was like, I like Rock from wrestling days. And it's like, I'll give him a break on when somebody try and do something dramatic, because to me, it's like, all right, well, you a wrestler playing a wrestler. It's like, how bad could that go? So I was going to watch that movie, but it's like, that movie made absolutely nothing. Yeah. And the same thing with a lot of these other big actors, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Like, this shit won an Oscar and nobody saw it. And it's like,
get at that movie industry sprinkling their little magic to them bullshit.
No, I mean, because this stuff, those are all just people who voting. Those are like people,
but you still should have the public opinion as far as whether if they played a good role. But then if you get,
but that's never been a criteria. It's never been about what the regular people think. It's always been those people who vote on who wins Oscars.
But what about the movies and where they where we starting to see it now, where they swap the race, where instead of the character being white, they make them black. Like, do you think that is good for the movie industry as far as, the Disney show, or Batman, The Little Mermaid? Some people say it's good, for the kids to see their favorite show growing up and them shown as a black character or a Hispanic character. But then everybody that loves the original, the story, they're like, it don't make sense for Little Mermaid to be black, because you're only just doing it to fulfill that DEI in the movie world. But then, do technically anybody really cares about that? Like, could you see Hercules that's black growing up? Would you think that that'd be a good idea to do that to that movie?
I'm thinking this kind of branches off into a separate topic also, where it blends into a different topic. I don't care about that stuff. Like, when I see it, when I see it, it doesn't bother me, I should say. Only time it does is when it feels forced. It's like the same thing with the surge in LGBT representation and everything. It's just like it's damn near impossible to find anything that Netflix has created in the past 5 years that doesn't have, a like an obligatory member of the LGBT community in it somewhere. And my problem with it comes only when it doesn't feel organic, when it feels like it's done in a pandering way. Because it's like, if you have a show and because like most of the time it feels like somebody came to them with a script, or, like most people do. I'm pretty sure, majority of the shows and movies that get greenlit nowadays, it's like somebody came to that studio with a script. It wasn't the studio that came up with it themselves. Mm-hmm. So most of the time it feels like somebody brought them a script of a fully completed out movie or whatever, and then they gave them the script. They were like, hey, we'll do this movie, but we got some notes. Like anything else, they always had notes. But it was like, hey, you have to have a black character in here. Yeah. I'm like, like, we see some problems. For one, you don't have any black people in here, and you have to have a LGBT person in here as well. So now this person has to rewrite the script and just throw a person in here. And it may be a little bit easier with the black person, depending, but as far, not black person, just a race, right? Regardless, like a minority person, it may be a little bit easier to write that in there and have it make sense. But then they throw in, like, just for instance, they throw in like a non-binary person in there, and then all of a sudden, this person is in this is in this role or whatever, and it doesn't feel real. Like, they'll introduce the character and be like, hey, this person is, their pronouns are they, them. And then it's just like everybody just immediately makes no mistakes in misgendering them, or they call them, nobody says her or him by accident, and nobody has any questions about it. Nobody's curious about it. It's just like, that's not the real world. Like, it feels like you just threw this person in here. Like, this person doesn't have any background. This person isn't, a fleshed out real life human being. And it's like, in the real world, if you have a friend group that's already established, and then somebody, brings their, an extra person in who happens to be, a non-binary person, somebody in that friend group is going to have some kind of questions. There's no way that you got a group 100%. Of 5 or 6 or 7 friend group people, every last one of them are super open-minded and super comfortable with, with this. Not to say that, there's always going to be somebody who, there's always an asshole that refuses to use the person's preferred pronouns or whatever like that. And it's just like, it's just like, there would be some people. I mean, hey, you do what you gotta, you do what you feel, but at the same time, it's like, there are people who are going to make mistakes. And then when you throw these people in these situations and don't flesh out these characters and the interactions and stuff, it makes it feel weird. And it's the same thing with, like you say, with the black people and the recasting of, characters who have been traditionally white throughout, their history or whatever. And it's like, if it's a person who can fit this role and I can see playing this role well, I'm like, I don't care. But then if it feels it's like, all right, somebody just told them, hey, make sure that this person is a minority, then it's just like, all right, that's fucking stupid.
I think it was done though because of that reason. Like you had mentioned the DEI part, and I agree in terms of like I don't think it should be forced, but it was during that time where everybody was like, oh, well, it has to be like this because we want equal representation. And I was listening to these they were ex-Hollywood writers. They wrote movies and actually did a lot of, Hollywood stuff. And they were talking about how normally you would have 5 writers working on any given story. And this is going back to like the 90s in terms of their movies. But then when DEI and these switches came along, like you said, it's like now you have to include the LGBT person. You got to have an Asian in here. You got to have a black. So they would incorporate all these other different writers. So instead of 5 writers, now you got like 15 writers. And now everybody has their own idea. And what started off as a somewhat developable script is now it's all over the place because you got 15 other people to sit there and try to codify with putting their little input so they could be shown as being represented through something. And the problem that I had with it when it initially started happening was, I thought about it, watching, I'm a huge 80s movies fan. And even then it was more so for the story part. I can't think of a time where I ever watched a movie and was like, man, I wish this had more black people in it. Because if I wanted to watch a black movie, I would go watch one. And it's not like, you had a shy movies coming through like the black exploitation era, even though they was like some low budget, but some of those movies were damn good. And it's like, so there is representation. I just didn't understand the representation in terms of, because it's a Disney movie, so we got to have a black Ariel. I was like, I like the little girl that played her. I was like, she can sing. I was like, but was there a need for it? It's like, is that gonna, you doing it for a money aspect? You trying to bring more black people to come see Disney movies? I'm pretty sure it was some type of idea behind it, but it's like, to me, it wasn't necessary. And I feel more put off if, like you saying, if it's forced, if they're telling me that I have to accept this. And if I don't, then, I'm a racist or I'm something, whatever, because you don't want a black Ariel.
Because I'm going off the base of what like Snoop Dogg said when he got caught up in the whole thing. Like, it's like, at least from a parent perspective, even from when I was growing up, putting the DEI or the LGBTQ plus, in there, and when it's forced, it doesn't feel like it makes sense for you to do that, because as a parent, your number one thing is to protect your parent. Like, you could just be having a regular day and, hey, My 6-year-old is not ready for that. Like, now he's asking all these questions, especially if it's just forced and you just popped it in there for 5 minutes, but it doesn't make sense. Now they got to correct their language and make sure they don't, misgender them, say they, them, non-binary. Like, now it feels like, now you're forcing me to have that extra conversation with my kid, in which I might not be comfortable to have that conversation with. I'm pretty sure a lot of parents fall into that category like that. But then it's like, do it where it makes sense. Like the Black Spider-Man. Like, everybody loves the Black Spider-Man. Like, it kind of makes sense. Like, y'all rolled it out good. Like, it makes sense in the movie.
Half and half.
Is he?
Yeah, it's Dominican and black, right?
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
So.
I thought it was just one of those.
His last name Morales. I think he's Puerto Rican. Is he Puerto Rican? He might be
one of those Afro-Caribbean.
Yeah, see, it's just. But I guess with the complete swap, like, I don't know. Do I want to see goddamn,
I mean,
I understand.
I understand it, but then it's, do it technically. At the span at the moment.
Imagine a gay Hulk. That shit would be horrifying. That shit would be a horror. That would be a horror movie.
Depending on what you like, I guess.
The harder he get, the madder he get, the harder he get.
Bull smash. Like, no smash, Hulk. No smash.
I get it. I get the.
You try to start something.
I see the upside of it of because I'm like, I can't tell you how many videos that I've seen of, the little black girl sitting in front of the TV, and then the parent put on the trailer for the new Little Mermaid movie, and the little black girl sitting there, she's like, oh my God, she looks like me, and she's seeing this character that she's all little girls heard of Little Mermaid and seen, whether it be the cartoons or the little books or whatever the case. And, you see the little girl's face light up when she sees this girl that looks like her, in this role that she's so familiar with. And I'm like, I don't discount that, at all, whatsoever. I'm like, I can I can see the positive effects that it has. But my only thing is, it's like, that ain't what they did it for. It's like, it has an effect, but it's just like that wasn't their main motivation. Their motivation behind, that could have been to just check a box. And it's like, hey, we getting pressure to do this, and if we don't want to see our stock start to drop, then we got to start making some adjustments and some changes. Yeah. And we think that this will be, this will make us look good in this light.
And like even back with going back and thinking about Power Rangers, I wasn't even thinking about that, but as soon as I think it was Power Rangers Turbo or Power Rangers Lightspeed Retsu, I think the main leader was black. And I was like, oh, okay, we got a black leader. But it wasn't something that was forced. You just introduced it. Not, how things were back then. You had to go read in the newspaper, but then is it a good idea to put those things in their mind? Not necessarily the black and white, but as far as the LGBTQ plus, it's like, there are times and places when those conversations are appropriate, but the movie industry is, and it's a whole other thing. It's like they kind of. Or do you think the movie industry or Netflix or Disney or Nickelodeon, the cartoons we see nowadays and the movies we see nowadays, do you think they're raising our kids?
Hell yeah.
Do you think that they are putting things in their mind necessarily?
Yes.
And what I mean is, I got to be specific, and not how when we was growing up, when you see suggestive things from certain characters, like why was that placed there in that scene? Why are they doing like this? Why is this?
So but you don't notice that until you get older and you look back at it and be like, oh,
but I think it's more out there now versus when we were growing. You see them Transformers, why is that crane?
I just think kids are more intelligent than we were back in the day. Like the intelligence level of a 5-year-old is not the same as a 5-year-old in 1995.
No, it's definitely
not the same.
Well, we were better survivalists, and this is a true story. So we were growing up. My mom refused to let us watch TV. As a matter of fact, I can remember the first time that I actually sat and watched TV. I was probably 11 or 12 years old. By the time it literally had a TV full time. So we in the middle of Georgia, and my grandfather brings over now, which is considered just mind blowing, but he brought a 13-inch black and white TV. And if you can imagine how big a 13-inch screen is now, it's like that's most phones. But he had brought the TV, and my mom reluctantly, she's like, it was during the summertime. You got 4 boys stuck in the house at the time. I'm going to let them watch TV. So the very first thing we watched was Tarzan. And I got a goofy brother. I got a oddly smart brother, and I just got a downright out dumbass brother. So the dumbass brother, after watching Tarzan, decides no sooner the credits was still going at the end of the movie, this dude runs outside. I'm Tarzan. Everybody run outside after him. Then my other goof ass brother and the extremely smart, they made little paper guns and shit. And so now we chasing Tarzan. I guess I was the monkey because I was the youngest, so I really couldn't do much. But long story short, my brother climbs up in the tree, and he's about a good, maybe 15, 20 feet high. And he decides that he's Tarzan, and he jumps out of the tree into now, granted, dude had perfect form when he leaped out of this tree. I will say that. He had the Greg Louganis arm extension, toes pointed, the whole nine. And he made it to the other tree. Only problem was the branch that he connected with didn't hold his weight. It snapped. Dude fell 15, 20 feet, hits the ground, poof, knocks himself out, still holding to the branch. And my mom walks out. No sooner there's a pile of dust rising up from him, and she whooped everybody. Dude still stretched out. She ain't checked to see if he was conscious, dead, or nothing. She chased the other 3 of us around because we all thought it was smart to go in different directions, and she caught every last one of us. Drugged the goofy one out, then knocked himself out, threw him in the tub, revived him. He woke up and she gave him a whooping. Now, does TV play a part in raising stupid people? Absolutely. Because afterwards, it's like I recall several times with my daughter.
How old was he at the time?
So I was probably, he was 10.
Well, that matters. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, dude, you just had your taste of TV. You didn't
do,
watch,
man.
That's what we did. Yeah, oh, we was stupid as hell. But when you talk about something being that contagious, and like I said, if you ain't never seen it, and the very first time you sit and watch a Tarzan movie, now you gonna go jump out a tree. But that shows how over the generations and times, it went from TV to computers to now laptops to phones to tablets to whatever it is that you hold in your hand now. It's like that's what's controlling us. And that's why I brought up the Matrix conversation I wanted to have earlier, is because literally it's like that's what we're stuck in now. And it's like, are we being raised by technology? Absolutely. Are these kids getting dumber because of it? Absolutely. I was like, so yeah, we're being controlled, and our kids and everybody else is being raised by this television or this media that they push out.
Yeah, because I know when I was growing up, boy, my mom did not let me. I wanted to watch it. My mom did not let me watch Jerry Springer.
Gosh, that was definitely not something like we was supposed to.
You know how you try to sneak and watch it when she gone, and don't watch no Jerry Springer, and then you telling your brother, said, don't let him watch that show, etc. I don't want him to see that content on there. That he ain't ready for all that. Then you see 2 men kissing, and I'll be like, what is going on? Like, whatever, it plays a positive influence. All these TVs, Ren and Stimpy and Beavis and Butthead, and
oh yeah, man, a lot of that stuff we was watching in the 90s, we had no business watching.
Good Lord,
a lot of that stuff, but it is what it is.
Like, I think how many episodes?
Tales from the Crypt.
Should have raised your kids. Have you messed up?
My only issue with the stuff now is just, and I feel like this is as I guess a side effect of age or just getting older. I'm just like, I feel like I'm tired of the sex that's in TV so much and on, like, even in commercials and movies and in everything. And it's just like, it's like I recoil now, and it's like not even just at the like the gay scenes, but it's just like every time it never fails in a movie, a Netflix movie. It's like the story could be about, two dudes going on a road trip to go, something that has nothing to do with sex. And then all of a sudden you just boom, 2 dudes kissing in the show. And it's just like, damn, it's like, what did this have to do with the plot of the story? It's like it had nothing to do with the plot of the story. You just had to, like, again, check off a box or whatever. And then it's like, in the beginning, it was, just my aversion to seeing 2 dudes kissing, because this is not something that I want to look at, period. But then as I'm getting, like, over time, I'm realizing it's like, it's not even just that. It's just, just the over sexualization of everything in general. And it's just like, you can't watch a movie without a sex scene in it somewhere. And then it's like, it's not even, back when, you would be watching a movie and then, you'll see, a kiss, and then, maybe another kiss, and then the screen slowly pan away, or the car windows get foggy, or the curtains close or something like that. And then it's like, you knew what happened. It's like, you got the point.
We knew what happened.
School James Bond movie with Sean Connery.
But then it's just like, now it's like,
that dude was aggressive.
Like now, well, he was smacking motherfuckers.
Exactly.
But now it's just like, it's not even just, a couple kisses or whatever. It's like you sitting there, like you this close to them, the camera is this close to them, and you seeing tongues and stuff and moving around and saliva and shit, and then now you start seeing pumping and thrusting and stuff. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, are we watching fucking HBO Max? Like, oh man, like HBO After Dark? Like, what are we watching?
That's Cinemax.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Cinemax.
Midnight Lovers.
Like, what are we watching? I'm like, we got the point. Like, okay, they did it. Like, we get it. Like,
and I think it even goes down to like the parents as well. But I think just the industry itself has a different viewpoint, and they're just throwing it out there in our face. Because I remember going to the movie theater. You can't go in there. You're not 17. Now you can just go in there all you want. They ain't even checking. They ain't checking for IDs for these kids.
They're supposed to. I mean, the rules are still there. It's just a matter of who decides to actually do their job that day. Yeah. Most of them are teenagers, and they don't really care.
Or do you think they try to recategorize the age bracket? Because now, if you're 13 and it's your teenager, you can go see some of these rated R movies, but then they have the rated R movies in different categories now. Well, I think I think so.
It's still the same.
It's like once you're in there, you in there.
Yeah, like
because I'm like, you get in the movie theater, you can go watch whatever you want, basically.
Yeah, it's still the same rules. It's just an enforcement thing. It's just they just not enforcing.
I'm saying some of these movies that's supposed to be for 13-year-olds and up or younger, or then you be like, why is this in a movie for 13-year-olds?
Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
just the content that they're allowing and something to call it.
What is that? What PG-13? Rated R.
Because I'm like, at one point, I remember it was like you can only say a number of curse words in a PG-13 movie. There was certain words you couldn't say at all, and then it's like you could say ass or damn or something like that, but you couldn't say shit or fuck. And like if you had any of those curse words, it was automatically rated R. But if you say ass or damn, then it was PG-13. But you can only say a certain amount of them.
Because they did it with I forgot that movie that who's the guy that played the Pirates of the Caribbean? What's the
Johnny Depp?
Johnny Depp. What was the movie with the pottery and off with his head? What's that movie called?
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland. I think he was singing a song at the end of the movie where he said "fuck a wagon," but we knew what he meant. But it was a curse word. It's like they creatively put it in the movie, but parents were like, "Why the hell is he singing a song that's called "fuck a wagon"?" But then it's when you read the word, it doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't have belonged in the movie. No, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just picking.
I think and everything that's been exposed with it, and I mean, in terms of even in its past, the debauchery that's been in Hollywood, like since it started, and this goes back. I'm talking about till they first started putting sound in movies that, the casting couch and all these things were invented. So it's like,
I got nothing.
But you got nothing too? Nothing. You can slide those over.
No,
but
sure they can.
Oh wait, no, not that one. That one.
Okay.
But it's all the, just the history of Hollywood and everything that they done. It's like this is being run by a bunch of sick people. So it wouldn't surprise me at all with the amount of sickness that goes in it, is that these people are making it influence in it to that degree. So these, number one, kids turn out the way that they're turning out now. And again, it's just another selling point for them to make money. So as far as like, are they really aware of it, or do they care? They don't care, but they're aware of it. It's like, shit, if Roman Polanski wins an award after raping a chick and he can't even accept the award because he had to skip the country. And then you got all these other people that know Hollywood agitators and Harvey Weinsteins and Bryan Singers and all these other people that it's like, you know what you're putting into these movies. It's like, because y'all sick.
Look at what are the movies or shows I keep hearing about. It's like, and stuff that has nothing to even do with it. People are just bringing up this show. Heated Rivalry or something like that. Oh, it's like a gay hockey show. It's like it's about a hockey team, but apparently they're all gay, and it's just like in every single episode, it's just like they'll be playing hockey, and then all of a sudden somebody's getting a blowjob in the back of the locker room, and it's just like, from what I'm hearing, it's like it's more sex in the show than it is hockey, but it's about Hockey.
You think Blue State Mountain was worse? You ever saw that show?
No.
Oh man.
But I'm like, that's what I keep hearing people talk about. It's about like
I'm gonna
celebrities
stick
and
to the
stuff.
nature shows that I watch because
Right, and
the
it's
shit
just like
that you
that's-
said is scaring the shit out
Blue
of
State
me.
Mountain is
I'm
a
like, that's
football.
what
It's a football show similar to what
I've
he said,
heard.
but it's about football. But it's not about gay, but it was just the amount of sex that was in the.
Well, this show is apparent, from what I'm hearing, it's just like that's it. They talking about it's more fucking than it is hockey, and the show is about hockey, and it's just like just nonstop. And then it's like straight dudes that's talking about
And kids watching it? Or?
Nah, I
Oh,
doubt it.
kids are watching. If it's on
kids
TV,
watching
kids are
everything.
getting to it.
I mean, I would say I'm not hearing that kids. Because I'm like, I don't watch
But you
content
get
where
those-
kids are talking, so I'm like,
You get those kids. Maya
knows?
Khalifa. How you know who she is?
Who's it?
Mia Khalifa.
Mia Khalifa. I'm sorry, Mia Khalifa.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
That's what we doing.
all right. I'm like, okay, all right. We don't know.
How you
that
know who
is.
Pinky is?
That's
Cherokee.
a throwback. Oh, you throwing back?
Like they grandmamas now. You bring it up.
Roxy Reynolds. How you know who they is?
That's the goal right
My
there.
God. We gonna cut that out.
Yeah, no, leave it.
You should because I'm like,
Oh man, boy, we don't get us started on that topic, boy. Booty
no,
Talk 33.
Stupid. Was I put man there? That's on here. Last time we had left off, we were getting into this simulation theory, or not necessarily the actual scientific theory of it, but we're like, hey, are we living in the Matrix? Is this all a simulation? I'm like, I know you and I've had hours-long conversations over the years about this, and just throwing theories out there and things that just seem a little weird.
but I mean, it added up. And to your Diamond, you had said once in regards to not the robotic or the technical form. I was like, but to a degree that we are, it's like, I guess the simplest way I could come up with it is that if you think about the way society is run now, it's all run by a bunch of rules that none of us voted in or collectively agreed to, that this is how society should be run. It was a bunch of rules that was given to us in a situation where, again, we have no control over it. So like the Matrix, it's like you was plugged into the Matrix, you were aware, but again, you had no control on how the Matrix was run. You just jacked in and you were living your day-to-day life. And it's no different from what we are currently into now. So if you were to apply it to a simulation, it's like, yeah, we get up every morning, we brush our teeth, we have our coffee, we eat our breakfast, we go to work, we get to work, we suffer through work, go to lunch halfway through the day, and at the end of the day, you come home, you might kick the cat, say what's up to the kids, curse them out, or, whatever the case may be, but you're constantly going through this day after day after day after day of this, what is a simulation, and it's like there's no break from it. So if you, on the weekend, you get up, you got chores to do, you got to either cut the grass, go fix something, go shopping, go grocery shopping, and it's just a routine that's constant. And it's like, well, the reason that we're in this predicament or in this simulation is because somebody thought, like, we'll put a shopping mall here, we'll put a school here, we'll make the job here, we'll put the houses over here, and these people are going to do this every day, like watching an ant farm. I was like, so to me, in that degree, I was like, yes, we are in a simulation, because outside of that, you have control over nothing. It's like you're given that illusion, which I liked about the movie. The Merovingian was sitting there telling Morpheus in there, he's like, no, choice is an illusion between those with power and those without. And it's like, we are the ones without power. So our illusion of choice is sitting here actually thinking that Don Lemons or politicals or monkeying videos actually mean something, when in reality, they do not. And to me, it's like, again, that's just an example of the simulation that we're currently in, that we have no way of breaking out of.
Definitely, I agree because there are certain things in which, you know, it's like we're the ultimate test trial for everything. Whether if it's a new car, whether if it's selective outrage, whether if it's a new product, whether if it's a new Apple product. You saw how everybody went crazed and frenzied for the Apple virtual reality goggle thing that was going on, and that was such a raid. But now it's gone. Like that's test trial over. What will that lead to, based upon that virtual reality thing? Are people going to eventually be able to not live in this test trial? Even if it's down to the medical industry, food. Every so often we get this new amazing craving food that comes out. Everybody wants it. What did they put in the food to make everybody crave it? The social media world or whatever. It's there. Definitely, 100%. I mean, even down to race theory, everything. I think it applies everywhere now. But who are the ones that break free from the matrix or the test drive or the simulation? Those that goes against the system. But once you go against the system, you have to be a part of it now, and they try to pull you in. If you don't want to get pulled in, they'll destroy you. I say the perfect example of this is Julian Brown. I think something like the Julian Brown that came out with plastic lean, the plastic gasoline.
Oh, I seen the black kid that he was able to turn plastic into basically fuel.
What is he missing?
He was missing for like a month.
He was
missing
for like a month.
He popped back up with him and his mom. Yeah. He was like, "Nah, we cool. We just."
But I think he's one of the like a soft example of that, to where now eventually he's going to get approached. Eventually he's going to get tried to be made a deal. You either sell your product or whatever the case may be. We take you out hypothetically. Quotation mark.
They probably tell him just like that.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of him.
Oh yeah, I would like to look into that.
Yeah, he has definitely been
making a black kid. He was just like online, and it was like a machine, and then it was like he put plastic in, and then it does some stuff.
A microwave paralysis something. I don't know all the term, but it's a microwavable paralysis machine that separates particles through a certain, I don't know, microwavable function. I don't know all the terms, but I think
something out.
Nice.
But I think it even applies to the acting world. Whether if you're just a random person on the street or even models, you see it all the time. Hey, that person should be a model. All it takes is, hey, we want to bring you into this industry, but you come into this industry. Here's Harvey Weinstein. These people you got to meet to get broken into the industry.
Yeah, now you get broken.
Now you on the other side. Kanye West. We seen Kanye West jump that line multiple times. Now all of a sudden Kanye West is apologizing to the Jews, and now he got a new album on the way out.
Yeah, he apologized to everybody.
I mean, that too. But but now all of a sudden you think he jump back on the other side because he needs some more money. I apply the same thing with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather starting
off topic now. We talking about,
but I'm just saying. At least I feel like that Matrix thing applies to everybody. Who can jump on that side? Who wants to be on the other side?
So my thing comes in with just looking at the amount of crazy stuff that just goes on, and we are looking at the stuff, and I'm looking at the stuff. I'm like, man, is this shit is really happening? Like, are we really in this state of existence right now? Just like the shit that we talk about on a daily basis. Like, hey, are we really?
But if you're offered an opportunity, whatever that.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just looking at the state of the world and trying to wrap my head around the fact that this is the society and this is the world that we're living in at the moment. And it's just like, hey, I could have never imagined that this is how life and this is how, society would be, 10, 15 years ago. I'm like, this shit is crazy that, that things go on like this. And then I'm like, I look at the amount of, almost had it straight, straight flush. Almost had, but I'm looking at like let you look at the amount of people that like when you go online and you see like somebody makes a post or whatever, and then you look at the comments underneath it, and it's just like 90% of them are negative. And then if you click on those profiles, it's like, you know, they get no followers, they're following like 3,000 people, and they got no posts, and it's like, okay, this is obviously a bot. And then it's just like you look, and it's just like majority of the conflict. And then I've even look at you know, like a comment thread where it's like two people were going back and forth arguing about something, whatever was going on in the video or something related to it. They're going back and forth arguing, and I'm looking at, you know, I click on both of their profiles, and it's just like they're both the same, like that same scenario. Like they got 0 followers, they got 0 posts or pictures or anything like that. Their profile picture is like a stock image of like a background of like, or like a flag or something like that. And then they got, you know, like 2,000 or 3,000 people that they're following. So I'm like, okay, these are 2 bots. They're 2 bots sitting here arguing back and forth in the comments about some fucking whatever the fuck. Like,
yeah, that's how algorithm works. Like you're feeding the algorithm.
It's not even an algorithm. It's the fact that there are actual bot farms like out, and they're actually just some computers hooked up to some phones plugged in, you know, phones plugged into a server, and they got their little thing typed in like, hey, I want this is your objective is to go out and search for these types of videos and leave these types of comments underneath these posts. And it makes me looking like, hey, what about, like, what if those, like, there are people like that in this world? What if there are people, you know, as far as we living in like the simulation thing? It's like, what if these people that we see, that's, you know, the ones that are the loudest, you know, on either side of any type of spectrum, whether it be religious, whether it be politics, whether it be race or anything. What if the loudest, most inflammatory people, what if they're just bots and they are just programmed to, you know, what if they just programmed to hey, you know, we got to put this program into the simulation because you know, we starting to see a few too many people asking questions and a few too many people, you know, looking into some stuff. So we got to stir up some shit and make sure people not looking at, you know, trying to find the program or trying to find the mirror that looks a little bit wavy, or try to ignore it at the fact that this cat just walked past you 4 times.
sounds like Westworld. That's what it sounds like.
No, it's like the Matrix.
Yeah,
like we need you to ignore all of these signs that shit is not, you know, shit ain't adding up. So we got to throw out these inflammatory people and these programs. Right. And that's what it really feels like to me.
I would agree with that, because it's like the more you keep people asleep or distracted from the reality of it, it's like, and then too, the other crazy part of that, well, 2 things, back to the Matrix, the movie itself, when Morpheus is introducing Neo to the test run, and he was explaining to him, he's like, so most people are so connected that they will, you know, die defending it. It's not like not realizing that they're in the Matrix, but the people are so, like you're talking about, people that go stir shit up with just being a bot, is like they're so dependent on the system is that they will die defending it. And it's like, so yeah, those people exist because we see them on a day-to-day. So those type of people don't need an awakening from others, because that's going to stop them from listening to them or stop the other people from listening to them. And that they have a platform where they can, you know, point the finger and say, hey, this is right or this is wrong, or do whatever. And they have the people listening to them, then that's their position of power. So they don't need the awakening. The other point that was made was when Agent Smith was talking to Morpheus once he had got captured. And Agent Smith told Morpheus is that, hey, you know, the minute that we started thinking for you, it became our world. And that kind of shook me as of recently, because now with AI and everything that's going on in terms of like, shit, you don't need to graduate from school now. You got AI to give you all the answers that you need. You got it right in the palm of your hand. You can speak different languages, understand different languages, you name it, that you can do it right out of the palm of your hand. So it's not you memorizing a language. It's that this phone is telling you what that language is and how to respond to it. So now this AI is thinking for you. And that was another sign of the Matrix to me, is just like, hey, we're not even thinking for ourselves. So if we're being told by something automated, some type of artificial intelligence, that's like, well, we already lost. And it's like that's the biggest the Matrix signal to me. It's like, well, shit, we already lost.
Definitely. I even think it applies everywhere. We got AI out here, and we are the product. We are constantly feeding AI. Hey, you get the kids asking AI, how do I, help my relationship? Do my taxes for me. Like, you're just feeding the system. That's all we're currently doing right now with AI. Whether if we're in a simulation or not, it does play in that way, because, like, look at everything. Like, it is becoming like a AI world. Like, people are, finding creative ways to even use it to cheat. I see the videos online where they use AI to get them through a job interview. Help them figure out their resume, help them figure out these tests easy, relationship problem, how to respond to your girl when she's doing this, how to respond to your husband when he's upset, but you don't understand why he's upset. It's from a man's perspective. You asking AI all these questions, but living inside of, a bubble, and then, doing everything that, like you said, everything, waking up in the morning, eat breakfast, go to work. Some people do break from that when you become rich, but then you do the thing that the rich people do. They got a routine that they do. They get up and do the same thing, or just go outside and do nothing. Having a whole bunch of money doesn't fix that. Because rich people got problems as well. Whether I did everything in life, I ain't got nothing to do. What do you think happened? They turn to drugs, and you can't simulate that. You can't simulate being overdosed on something, especially if you're in the hospital.
Or they started taking advantage of poor people, which if I was rich, I was like, I'm gonna play me a new game. I'm running for president.
We are.
Yeah. So, but
we are over time. What?
If Morpheus come and snatched you and just like, hey, you got the red pill, the blue pill.
Morpheus better have his fight game on. I was like, because if you waited till I'm at the age that I'm in now, and you want to talk about blue pill, I'm whooping your ass. Well, probably not, because he knows how to do that jumping.
That is not an option. Like, you ain't whooping Morpheus, like, because he know how to game work.
Yeah, that's true.
So what would you do? Are you staying in?
No, I'm staying in. No, I think I'm too late. I can't disconnect.
You might see it through.
Yeah,
because you know what you're going. If you don't stay in, you know what you're going to be doing. You're going to be getting back up in the morning, doing the same thing you did 365 days out the year. Like, that change do help, but then sometimes you need that change to make you realize it's okay to wake up in the morning and drink your cup of coffee.
Shit, I'm like Cypher. I'm like, if you had to tell me to choose between this and the Matrix, I'm choosing the Matrix. All I ever do is what he tells me to do.
So what you doing? You staying in too?
I'm probably I'm gonna see what that difference gonna be. Yeah,
I mean, you don't get that. Like, just like in the movie. Like, he didn't pull him out yet. This is before you get pulled all the way out.
Before you get pulled all the way out, I'm probably gonna stay in.
You probably stay in
because it's different. I already know if I don't stay in, I know what I'm going back to. This is something different.
But you don't know. He didn't. I think he just showed.
But are you staying in forever, or you just staying in just to?
Well,
just like in the Matrix. You stay in, you accept the program, and it becomes a part of you, and you just in there.
Oh man, I think you put it like that. I'm probably like, fuck
or
that.
Or you get out.
Hey, look,
I'm saying he also.
How much? But if I had to look at it as how much control I have, I will probably stick with the.
But you don't know what you don't know the alternative though, because he asked him that question before he showed him the full deal. He just showed him like, hey, the world the world is kind of messed up, but we made our own life underground. He didn't tell them that everybody had
he didn't even say underground. Yeah, he didn't.
He said he scorched. They scorched the sky.
No, that was after he got out.
That was after.
Yeah, because remember he was plugged into the simulation when he showed them what the real world looked like.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he didn't give him a precursor. Nah, but he wanted to go back. It was like flip over, like, oh yeah, here's us at mealtime. Like, what's this shit y'all eating? It's some bullshit, but here's where we live at. Like, man, y'all niggas live in a hole. Yeah, but it's close to the Earth core. It's kind of one that now.
Right. So okay, even then, I'm gonna show you just based off of what
sacrifice.
Just based off of what Neo had the knowledge that he had at the time. Like, hey, I feel like this shit is fake. I feel like it's some weird shit going on, and I want to know what the truth is. And boom, Morpheus pull you to the side, and he show you like, hey, yeah, you're right. This shit is some bullshit going on, but I can't give you the full thing unless you pick and choose which one you want. Do you want to really find out what the real truth is, or you want to continue living the lie?
I would really want to find out what the
truth is. They got my daddy on the Cadillac. Like that.
I would want to find out what the truth is, because I feel like if you find out what the truth is, you would probably still get offered a choice to either go back and do you want to deal with the real craziness shit that you're gonna have to deal with if you know the truth,
but you don't know what that craziness is.
You don't know what the shit. It's kind of like fuck.
I'm not giving up hot showers. I can tell you that right now.
But you don't know that there's no hot showers.
You could have said that if you'd have told me, just like Cypher said, if he would have told us what the Matrix was, I'd have told him to shove that blue pill right up his ass. I was like, dude, I'd have said the red pill right up his ass. I'd have did the same thing. Like, no, nigga, you got a cell phone. Like, we got all this technology. Show me what y'all living like, and I'll decide. And if I'd have saw that bullshit when motherfuckers are living in a hole and it get cold, I'm like, nah, I'm staying here playing.
So if he put you in that position, but he said, hey, look, I just can't tell you until you choose.
Well, again, nigga, that's
so. Are you gonna be like, all right? Well, since you can't tell me, I'm just gonna go back here where I know what.
Yeah, give me the blue pill.
Yeah, I think I'll just.
But then he still says you're gonna go the rest of your life still having that same feeling like, yo, man, it's something fucked up around here. Like,
I made it this long without knowing math, so
I probably would stay unless I see a glimpse or I was in it and I came back out, and then I'll be like, I want more information. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I feel like it's Westworld. Because Westworld, I watched that goddamn show, and that show made you realize something going on. This shit fake. Let me go back.
So you staying? You gonna take the red pill and be like, I want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
I feel like with me, knowing me, I'll be going back and forth so much. He'll probably get pissed off. Like, you know what? Stay up. I'll be sitting there because I'm like. I'm like, you got to convince me stuff. Like, you can't just tell me something and I just go along with it. I'm like I'll have my initial gut reaction to something, but I can't make a decision without. I can't even buy a $200 appliance in the house without reading hundreds of reviews and looking at 40 different versions of this thing, probably making sure
that's called being a smart shopper.
But I'm like, so I definitely ain't finna. I can't make a decision like that off rip. Like, hey, look, the world you're living in is fake, but we can't tell you what the real world is like until you actually make a decision on whether or not you want to come out. But if you come out, you can't come back in.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I'm like, I definitely wouldn't be able to make that decision. I'll probably piss him off.
If that's the delivery, then I'm not doing it.
He'd probably be like, you know what?
If that's how you gonna try to sell me on that one, like, I can. There's some crazy shit going on, but I can't tell you. But you got to take this pill. Like, nah, nigga, I don't watch the videos
because I'm like, it's got to
wake up at puffy parties and shit.
Stupid. Wake up, your butt hurt. You don't know why. Right. What? But it's like it's got to be
on backwards. She's like, this ain't right.
A real like. I don't want to say gullible person, but like, a person that's be able to be swayed fairly easy to have that option placed in front of you, and you just choose the unknown over what you do know, whether or not, and then just to believe that this person is telling you the truth. It's like, hey, who could have said that this whole situation wouldn't have been the same if the agents had got to to Neo first, and they presented him with their own made up version of the red pill, blue pill thing, and it's like, hey, but when he made the choice, it's like, no, if you make this choice, we'll tell you the truth. And then next thing you know, he's an agent. Like he get turned into an agent.
Crazy.
And it's just like,
and hey, a different version of the Matrix.
It's like you don't know
blocking those weak ass punches.
This is off subject, but y'all ever watch Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
No. I've seen clips of it here.
Yeah, I went to Big Bang Theory.
I saw a clip of Jackie played it the other day. It pissed me off though, because she was sitting there watching it, and I was working on the computer, so I could hear the earshot. So it was this girl explaining to the super nerdy dude,
Sheldon,
yeah, the nerd, and she was sitting there saying that the events of Indiana Jones, the first one, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, like what would have happened anyway? And dude was like, I don't know, maybe you didn't see the movie, but Indiana Jones is the dude with the cool hat and the whip, and she broke it down. She's like, that whole thing would have happened regardless of him in the movie. He's like, the Nazis would have found the Ark of the Covenant, they'd have took it to the spot, they would have opened it, and they would have still all died. And dude's just like,
yeah, I thought that.
He made it the whole movie.
Yeah, I sat there and I was like, I could have went the rest of my life without hearing that shit.
Yeah. I definitely will watch that episode. All right, we are way over time. But this is good.
35 minutes over time.
We are good. This was good. All right, well, red pill, blue pill, pick one. Whichever side you want to be. If you wake up in the bathtub and your butt hurt, you know you was at the deity party.
Yeah. Then you took the orange pill. Right. You made up your own shit.
You took the baby oil.
You took that Tussie or whatever they was popping.
I had this one drinks this baby oil. All right, y'all.
All right, man.
Cool, we out.